My camera's a touch low, Randy. My camera is a touch low. I mean, I can just move my chair. Yeah, that's better. Futures trying to hold on to gains here this morning as we get going on a busy Thursday here, coming off what was pretty impressive end to Wednesday, Fed day yesterday. We had better than expected result as far as the overall market is concerned, but here we go back to the upside this morning. We just got PPI numbers coming through there for May, negative 0.2% on the month over month number for PPI core, dead flat versus a 0.3% increase expected there. So 2 days in a row, some inflation data coming in here. Downside, 2.3% core PPI year over year for May as well. Initial jobless claims also a little bit to the upside, helping the market as well. 242,000 versus 228,000 print expected there. 225 was the consensus. So higher jobless claims going to help things out as far as the overall market is concerned. Continuing claims there, 1.8 million, 1.82 million versus 1.8 million basically on the flat side. So again, 2 days in a row, looks like some inflation data helping things out. Big move, 2% already here for the NASDAQ.
I love it, Brendo. Let's go higher. And yesterday was a good day. Obviously, we got the CPI and we had the Fed FOMC meeting. Out of that meeting yesterday, 4 members saw no cuts for this year. 7 members saw 1 and 8 members saw 2. We got a new dot plot there yesterday, and we sold off a little bit on that news, Brenda.
Clearly, my charts are not updating correctly, but hey, it's a positive move anyways, guys. Here we go again, some extension.
The NASDAQ just almost tagged 1% up, so
it'll get there.
If you like market up, then you're not feeling blue today, although we're in the blue at the desk. So it should be a good one. There was some slight hawkish talk, I suppose, if out of the Fed and the dot plot, maybe only signaling that 1%. But it doesn't really matter when all these earnings are absolutely blowing it out of the water. AVGO crushed it last night. They're finally doing that split effective next month. Nvidia is going higher because that's what it does. So everything's looking pretty good, unless you're Dave and Buster's. Yeah, they didn't come to play on earnings. That wouldn't have been, wasn't the best for them. But we will look at them for a potential SSR bounce. So a lot to be excited about. The shareholder vote tonight, shareholder meeting, and then the votes for Elon Musk's pay package, and then the incorporation of Texas. He thinks he's got the votes, and the stock is way up going into this morning. Although it had pulled back a little bit. Yeah, it's right back to the highs. It was
191.
Yeah, it was like 4%. 7% to 4%, now up 7% again. It may be second, but 200 still in sight. As long as you get there, it doesn't really matter how. Not the 2100 that Kathy Wood's bear case is, but 200 will be just fine by me.
It might get to 200 today. 190 right now. I think Tesla has a chance at $2 today. What has a chance of 130 today, and what has now a chance of 130 almost immediately is Nvidia. I'm just punching long now. Forget about it. All right, so I'm long now Nvidia. We want to just keep on going with this one. It was a big trade yesterday. Let's see if we get it again here today. You're up just another 3%. As we continue to go higher and higher and higher. We said last, I think it was a Monday or Tuesday. I was like, just keep buying the NASDAQ, and that's been working out. Fed throws no cold water on anything, and we'll stay in it right now. We'll see where it goes from here, but I still think 130 on Nvidia is coming through. I mean, another 3%. Look at this thing. This is $12.90 now. We're almost at $1,300 if we go back, right? And so, we'll wait to let this thing settle down. I've written down 126, 126.50. Levels like that, 128, a pullback. So let's wait to see what happens here with Nvidia, but the machines seem to be turned on here today on that PPI number. But don't get too excited. That was a bump up right now. It's 834. I think this market continues to go higher, but we're at these crazy levels. We're going to be at 20,000 NASDAQ.
Kaboom.
That's crazy. So, I mean, that's going to probably be a sell event when we get there, which is 400 points from now, or 300 points from now. Let's just wait to see what happens here. The NASDAQ continues to rock and roll. We're already stupidly long Nvidia here.
On the liquidity side of things, as far as the overall market is concerned, just to recap here, if anyone's joining a little bit late, PPI month over month for May, negative 0.2% versus a positive 0.2% expectation there. On the year over year number, if you jump down to here, dead flat, zero print versus 0.3 to the upside for core. My apologies there for month over month. On the core side of things, year over year, 2.3 versus 2.3 expected. Continuing jobless claims to the upside, initial jobless claims to the upside. So we're just stacking data points on top of data points, helping things out here.
And he made a point to talk about that yesterday, the lack of the slack in the employment market or the employment in general in the States. So we'll have to wait and see what they say next time around. But yeah, more sadly, obviously, jobless claims coming in, but that is what the Fed is looking for here, Brendo. We had one hell of an earnings report, though, after the bell yesterday.
Yeah,
I was
huge.
really impressed by it. Broadcom absolutely killed it.
Yeah, on the AI side of things, I'm sure we'll jump into it. As far as that Fed press conference is concerned, I think as a general statement, one of the most uneventful I've sat here and listened to over the past, 3-4 years. To be expected, I think. I even said at one point to Ramin and Fabian, they could have just rolled back the one from the last meeting, and it would have done the same job because he said nothing. He said the same thing over and over and over again that he says all the time. So there wasn't much to take from that.
He's like my dad, Brendo. He's excellent at not answering the question.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Obviously, he's a lawyer by profession, not an economist, so he knows how to work his way around that. But yeah, I didn't get too much from the press conference either. We'll have to see how the market reacts to it today.
Yeah, I mean, tech obviously liking it. We saw just this initial slow kind of grind higher as he was answering some of the initial questions yesterday, and then it became apparent very quickly, guys, that there wasn't going to be anything from Fed Chair Powell that was going to be on the negative side.
Thing either way, like there was that little point in the dot plot. I think there was like a single comment about no rush or need necessarily to do that cut, and some things move more than others. I think really what ended up being more interesting at the end of the day, and I'm not taking anything away from the Fed, like you get that excitement off the beginning, but that it was the sell-off in Apple, like two things to note, like the sell-off in Apple at the end of the day, and then the sell and bounce that grew on Apple was pretty interesting. And then the instant pairing of the big sell and bounce on Nvidia, it was like a 2.2 million sell and bounce on Nvidia that paired instantly, like it paired half in the first few seconds and paired the rest of it a few seconds later while Apple's got bigger. And Apple dropped like $7 on that move. So I don't wonder if we found some levels there on Apple. And the other thing that was going on there, we'll talk about GameStop, was that big move down in GameStop at the end of the day. Turns out that there was a lot of action in a certain June 21st 20 strike option, which, I mean, it's hard to imagine that there was that much selling in it if it wasn't Heath Gill involved and selling some of that. But it could also just mean he was raising cash to exercise the rest of what he has. So he could have been trying to raise enough cash to exercise what he has left. Who knows? But that move in the end of the day, the two moves at the end of the day that stood out the most were easily GameStop just tanking and with that heavy call action. And then, of course, that Apple move. Like Apple to give back that $7 was absolutely wild and just kept on selling into the close. Meanwhile, Nvidia caught a bid on a bigger sell and balance that paired off. So, I'm interested in the levels that got formed around that. We'll be looking at that GameStop 25 in here today just simply because that was a wipeout bottom that it ended up holding. And if all that action is done, maybe it's going to do another bit of a turn. So, I think you just go back to the names that were moving the best and just go back to the well with what worked for you the day before. I don't think we got anything that's changing my mind on the Fed. I think the market's the market. The earnings have been a little bit more important anyway, so we'll stick to that. And the names that were strong post earnings, you look for places to go buying dips. I did note that Intel is down when everything else is up.
Oh, really?
So I'm shorting that thing. Well, I should. If it gets to 21, I'm shorting it. I just don't even understand.
31,
30. Oh, sure. Yeah, 31. I'm thinking 20.
Yeah, that's 6 months.
I have 21 in my head because of Roaring Kitties calls the expirations on the 21st. So it's like next Friday. Next Friday is a big event for the markets. So we'll see. But 31 is what I meant on Intel. If it gets to 21, I mean, come on.
Yeah, then I think you got to buy it, right?
I would, 100%. I would buy it at $21. Yeah.
I'm trying to buy that name at 25. It comes in. Man, those Dallas Mavericks, man. I mean, the NBA is starting to be very, very dominated by these Boston Celtics that are just continuously mowing through everybody, kind of as expected there.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to talk quickly about Longeveron because you just mentioned GameStop. I mean, this is another stock here where, again, with news, right? Rallying during Wednesday's session, $15 price target, hit it. Now we're focusing on its primary treatment, rare pediatric heart defect. So, I mean, look, it looks like the rally in this name will be for good reason and hopefully continue. I mean, we'd like to see any kind of a new drug, you know, make it to market and help those in need. So Longeveron, again, I'm guessing there was a reverse split in there, 10-1, because it looks like we went from 20 cents to $2 real quick. And then now right back in, and then you get the good news. It's funny that it was Zach's. What's up, Zach? Gave a price target, which seems weird, $15. But, you know, can we get there? I'm guessing we can because of the nature of the business, right? And all it takes is for some of these names to get approval, to be bought out, and, you know, more and more studies coming for LGVN. So let's wait to see where this name goes. But, you know, 340, 350-ish, these have been tops in the past. Ooh, why, thank you. Yeah, we could take it off that bear there. Off the cup. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so anyways, it looks like Longeveron right here with 17 plus million shares traded so far today. Looks like we might get a decent bottom opportunity here at 220, 230. 210 is the 200 period moving average. And then Neil looked at GameStop already. I mean, I think this is going to be another one here today. It's just going to keep going until we get to the 21st, which is now 8 days away. And then we'll find out more about that position. I expect him to roll it over into next month.
Yeah, you can easily do that.
We'll wait to see what the plan of action is there. But yeah, there is that sell-off at the end of the day, which we were a part of, 29.50 all the way down to 26. And remember, yesterday's sticky note level, we actually wrote down 26. It looks like the bottom was 25. So we could probably play off 26 again here on GameStop. And let's just, before we go back to the desk, let me just throw up the imbalance locator just to see if anything is going on. It's just GameStop right there, 135. So it doesn't look like it's a significant number, but we'll see one of the top ones. So it's on traders' minds. And we are now 12 cents out of the money on Nvidia. We did buy some dips there. We'll get that position board going in a minute, but we're long Nvidia on a couple dip buys.
All right, let's talk about that Tesla move here this morning. A couple of people still mentioning it. 7.5% to the upside here on this note. Elon Musk coming out saying the shareholder meeting coming up after the close tonight easily, or what's the wording, with significant margins will pass his pay package. So I don't know how they're going to pay this. I still don't.
I don't know either.
$56 billion going to be shipped over to Mr. Elon Musk.
It's just my own personal view. I think he should be paid, but that's really irrelevant. So there's two things that are being voted on today, guys. The resolution to approve, obviously, that $56 billion pay package that was nullified by the Delaware judge, and also the move to incorporate in Texas and move it out of Delaware. So two things on the docket today. There are obviously concerns about Elon Musk's pay package. People say, you know, the company is experiencing slower growth, increased competition, especially from China. Arguments for his pay package. People say, look, the company's nothing without him. He's made this company is what it is at the moment. So they don't want to see it move forward without him. It's an unmitigated risk, they say. So we'll have to see how it happens today. BlackRock and Vanguard and some of these bigger shareholders, Brendo, they haven't shared how they're voting.
There was a couple of analysts, I don't think it was from either of those, but there was a couple of analysts I saw at the close yesterday coming out saying that absolutely he should be paid. This is an agreement that was done. I was just trying to find the cash on hand here, but I can't come up with it. I'll keep looking for that. But yeah, we'll see. After the close tonight, guys, going to be the main event.
I'm just wondering what the over-under is going to be on people that will like tweet or post images of my favorite scene in Rounders, pay that man his money. Like I feel like everyone's going to be using that one, so I'm not even trying to do the voice because I'm no John Malkovich. Everyone can do an impression but me. But Tesla at the end of the day, we're just here to trade the price action, whether or not you think he should or not, because the deal's a deal, all that kind of good stuff. Elon has been the heart and soul for good, bad, and everything in between for Tesla. And what matters, I think, the most here today is you're finally breaking out of this interesting range that it's been in. That 50 period didn't hold for a couple of days ago, but it did hold down that support at 167, so it bounced right off of it, and now you're breaking out the 180, you're breaking out above. The other high was 83, we were pointing out yesterday, now it's at 90s. And the last line in the sand there before you get to that 200 fail was $187. So you're actually taking out, you're gapping through multiple levels here. The 80, the 83, and the 87. So I like the dips into any one of those levels today. The vote's not till the vote's at 4:30, so we're gonna get an entire day's worth of trade action where we're not even worried about that, and we'll probably be able to get not even anything definitive on the aftermarket show tonight because they'll just be starting things out. So ultimately, it'll be an interesting headline at the end of the day. Let's be here to trade the trade action and the price action. So I like the 87 dip. If it does fail these pre-market support levels, 83 is pretty deep down in there. So I think it requires a lot of patience when it comes to Tesla. And then only because I like to group these things together when we're talking about them, the EV names. Rivian in here, if you looked right in the afternoon, there was that move down when the market just stopped rallying, I suppose is the best way to think about it. Everything started turning. Rivian was exactly at $12 at that moment and flushed into the low. So a lot of things fell. This fell from exactly 12 and is trading back underneath that 12 level. So the 10 bounce hasn't been able to push through this $12 level. It's just hanging out in here. I really only want to be playing this break if it's out and about and above that $12 level here. So it's back underneath. Any breakout's going to have to climb above that at the open once again.
Just heard that Workhorse is going to do a 20-for-1 stock split, so to stay compliant right here. I flipped over to it to see if there was going to be any action. We know that stock splits are obviously a huge, destruction of wealth, stock price valuation. Yeah, because when stocks split, they go up for a minute and then they just tank right back down again. So just some news here on Workhorse. It's 16 cents. If you like it, I went over here thinking that there was going to be much more action on Workhorse once I heard that news. And I guess maybe that's already been thought about, and maybe it was an old story, but down 10% Workhorse on that. Look, I'm just doing the sticky note right now. I wrote down Tesla, and this was, again, everything was before PPI, but I was looking at 190 as a possible break, but that already happened, and it went to 192. So now, I still have it on there, but I put like a little dash, thinking that maybe now we'd have to look at 188. It's like what Brendan said, like, I don't know how, I never even thought about it, like, how are they gonna pay this pay package? Is the money already sitting there somewhere? Is there something that we have to worry about as far as selling stock to get into, to be able to raise that cash? Where is their cash? So here's Tesla's cash right now. Obviously, they're not going to deplete their whole cash reserve, but it's only $27 billion. So in my opinion, not my opinion, I'm guessing that Tesla's going to have to sell some of their own stock to be able to pay that off. So I don't know what exactly that means for the stock price, to be honest with you, but someone else smarter than me does. It's up 7%. So, and again, you're just making Elon happy, which is what you're supposed to do. This guy there might not be, Amazon maybe. I think Elon Musk might be the single greatest wealth generator in the last 30 or 40 years for investors. I think that's probably true because there's so many people that got on the back of Tesla when it was a young company because Silicon Valley and all this kind of stuff, and it was tech, and it was Elon and all the successes that came. There's so much money. I personally know many millionaires that were minted from Tesla, and all they did was buy the stock.
Only Satoshi's better.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's kind of
yeah, fictional character, yeah. But as far as real money, I think Tesla has done that. And I think, look, Apple and Bezos and all that kind of stuff has been great as well. But it's just the rise of Tesla there over the last 10 or 15 years. It's just been so amazing that this stock will have a lot of people excited about this news to keep Elon happy, keep him on board. And I think it's a good move, whether or not you think he deserves it or not. I mean, this is what capitalist markets are all about, right? Pay the people that are putting in the work, especially those that have paid you a lot of money. So we'll wait to see what happens here with Tesla. But now I'm looking at 188 dip buys, but I'm still very, very interested at 190. It's just, this is going to be a fire starter off the open, man. Like, there's going to be so many people that have bought this name down here at 170. I mean, we were talking with Brian Shannon, lots of guys, lots of on the recap show, everyone that's been on this show. Tesla's always a name that we talk about. I thought it was, not left for dead, but once we started getting under that 50-period moving average and then we took 170, I mean, does it not look like it's going to break lower right here? And then all of a sudden it gets that garbage out of here and goes right back up to the upside. So for me, Tesla, I think it has a 200 print in it. And then I think after that, we probably... let's wait. It's supposed to be August. We're supposed to get news about the robo-taxi and what that rollout looks like. So, I mean, once that happens, then more AI talk, and then Brendan's going to buy Optimus so we can fold laundry and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's going to be, the story is not over with Tesla. I just wonder if it's a little overheated so far today. Let's go see if Tesla was by any chance upgraded or downgraded with Adara at the desk.
3,200.
If it was, it's not on the board, but we do have a great name here to start the board on the upgrade side. That's going to be Broadcom, AVGO, after that stellar earnings report yesterday, during which they announced their 10-for-1 split. Oppenheimer upgrading this one with the $2,000 price target, but quite a few analysts bullish on this name after that report. We also have 3M getting an upgrade from Wolf Research, and Goldman Sachs upgrading a slew of fast food related names here, Starbucks and Chipotle among them. They also upgraded Domino's and Shake Shack. So lots of these food names getting a positive look here from Goldman Sachs. On the downgrade side, we have a retail name here, Nike getting downgraded by Deutsche Bank. Another fellow footwear sales retailer here getting a downgrade from Deutsche Bank. That's going to be Birkenstock. Generac getting a downgrade here from Janney. And last but not least, NextEra Energy getting downgraded by Barclays. So bit of an interesting look here, guys.
Like, we're obviously going to talk about Broadcom because, we'll get to that. It's going to be at the top of the watch list, and it's stock split that is long overdue, I think, for that name. But the Nike in here gets a little interesting. It's pulling right back into the 50 period simple. $93.50 was already a bounce spot recently. That was just back like a week ago. So, yeah, it started to get into this 93 level. Wasn't on my radar, and then that pops up. I like talking about something that maybe we weren't looking at previously. Like a lot of things, this is going to have dumped yesterday going into the close, but that was already, forget about the price action after 3 o'clock. This is a stock that was already dumping going into the end of the day there. So I do think when you have a pullback like this, you want to look for a significant level. A higher low to continue the trend makes a little sense, and the 93 level looking pretty solid here on Nike. I mean, getting a downgrade, maybe not the greatest catalyst in the world there, but yeah, like that 50 period is already held once. Let's see if it could do it again. Nike, a pretty decent story. As I said, we'll talk about Broadcom, no questions asked, a little bit later on. I don't know if we'll trade it today because it's still 1,700, but once that does the split, it can't come soon enough. That's all I got to say. And Chipotle, that'll be soon.
Neil, I will one-up you and say we will not trade Broadcom today.
No, I said no, I will not.
No, you said you said you don't know if we will.
Oh, I did say we don't know?
Yeah.
Okay, we definitely will not.
We definitely will not.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to knock this over if it's right there.
Yeah, here, just put it over here.
I do this all the time.
No. Randy put it there. It shouldn't be anywhere near there, actually. All right, so yeah, well, look, I'll call up Broadcom. What? Oh, it was upgrades and downgrades. Yeah, I mean, I looked at the Nike downgrade there. I mean, that's not been a great stock, obviously, for the last year or so, as we get obviously some worries about there in China and then a possible global slowdown. So we'll wait to see that. But there's absolutely no slowdown in Broadcom. Shout out to Danielle Shea. Good job with Neil yesterday on the market recap show, obviously, as we are getting lesser big names reporting, but this is a big one. $700 billion-dollar company, now a little bit more today as Broadcom up 13%. And then, yeah, man, that canary in the coal mine no longer exists because they are now going to split. So that's the answer that we all wanted. I think it's 10 to 1, right? Or was it 10 to 1 or 20 to 1?
Yeah, 10 to 1.
10 to 1. So it'll be an Nvidia type move back down to 170 at some point. And yeah, sooner rather than later, like Nvidia, I think it's 2 weeks. We'll see what happens here with Broadcom until then. But yeah, like the name. I'm not down. Katina Capital is not downgrading Amazon, but if there's going to be a weak name, we should have shorted Amazon yesterday right into here. We did short it up into here as Powell was talking into VWAP, and we lost. And then as soon as Powell left, you know, the minute he left, we just punched short again because I was like, okay, I like the short in the name. And then now Powell's done pumping the tires of the market. And then the market didn't really fall, but Amazon did. And then we had, as Neil mentioned, some of those imbalances at the end of the day that started to, you know, mix things up a bit. I mean, that print at the end of the day is like 4 million shares or something like that on Amazon. So big market on close imbalance there yesterday for AMZN. But I still like the short on this name. So I know it's not on the upgrades and downgrades. We probably won't get to it, but it is on the sticky note for a short on Amazon, especially if we get a run into this 188-ish area. I don't know if we get up to there, but this is a name that if there's anything that I'm going to short, and I love the company, and I mean, look at the chart. I don't even really think it's a short. I'm just trying to play off of the last couple days where a lot of focus is on Apple and then obviously these big chip names. So maybe Amazon's just getting left for dead a little bit. One good catalyst, and this thing takes out its all-time highs here of 190 again. But sans that, we'll go short on Amazon.
Okay, a few other things moving around here. I was just noting Dave & Buster's down 10% here this morning. Yeah, there's a couple of negative notes, a couple of downgrades for Play. PLAY is the ticker for Dave & Buster's. I totally forgot to mention, I was going to say, happy Tax Freedom Day in Canada. Today is the first day, I was reading this morning, the first day that you actually start making money for yourself instead of paying taxes.
Let's not get into that conversation, Brendo, please. Let's talk about that.
I mean, it's obviously an estimate. It's not like set in stone, but I saw that this morning. I was like, oh, that's good. That's nice. A few other small caps to note this morning. BRTX, big move to the upside, 11 million shares traded already on BRTX. I mean, it's not tiny, but it's relatively small. GME we'll talk about coming up here. VANI is another one. TSLT and NVDL, the rounding out the top as far as the volume movers on the small side of things today.
Absolutely, Brendo. And I'm going to keep my eye today, speaking of small caps, on Longeveron. This one started moving yesterday. For whatever reason, right at 11 o'clock there, we caught eyes on it on the midday show at Adair and I, and this one really kept going into the aftermarket. This got up into 2 3/4 and right back into that 2 3/4 again this morning, trading above VWAP. I'm going to have my eyes on LGVN today.
Yeah, some of the Chinese EV stocks to the upside I was just noticing as well. Global Foundry's down as well. So a lot of small cap movers once again, guys. I mean, decent volume behind most of these. 1+ million across the board here.
Yeah, look, the interesting, I don't know, like Sean already mentioned that Longeveron. I think that's the one that's piquing interest here. We were trading it a little bit yesterday, and first of all, I mean, that Tax Freedom Day, meh. Today I'm celebrating Strawberry Social Day at my daughter's school after when I get home. It's going to be awesome. I'm hoping the weather's going to be good because it's like a year-end event kind of deal. You just go in, they serve ice cream with strawberries on top because it's Strawberry Social. You meet the teachers, they show the classroom, you talk to other parents, the kids play. It's a heck of a lot of fun. Much better when we can do it in the courtyard in good weather, and it might rain tonight. But yeah, Tax Freedom Day, whatever. That's just what, it's kind of like a fun thing out there. But I don't know how many.
I ain't got no tax freedom.
People aren't happy to celebrate anything that has to do with taxes, so I'm not going to be either. Look, I think Longeveron is a trade today. And it did a huge rally in the aftermarket. And if you watch, our charts kind of, they'll turn off when the system turns off, and then we'll put them on in the morning, wherever you set it. I set mine to 6 o'clock, but it did reach 280 in the aftermarket overnight. I'm pretty sure it was like 280 or something was the high. And then 280 is, again, the high right now. So as long as it's above and holding above the opening tops, that was that $2 level that we mentioned. I think the $2 level is absolutely key here. If it can bounce off that and hold above, there's plenty of room for this to continue to rally. I'm like 99% sure. Like if we had Luis on, I feel pretty confident in saying that this is the name that they're probably the most interested in, just in terms of the volume it did yesterday. The price action should be solid. So yeah, I got this one on my radar. Has to hold that $2 level. That's going to be key. Oh, there we go. Shout out to Right On Time. Appreciate you, Dominic. Right back in to thank you for the super chat. Sean, you'll remember when we crushed long Jeveron a year or two ago, LGVM was the best. I was actually just telling this to Adara because she's like, oh, that was a great pun yesterday about long Jeveron not being short Jeveron. I was like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I used that a year ago. It's not anything new because it is a stock that we have traded before. Let me just hit the like on that one right there. So appreciate you, Dominic. Yeah, we've definitely been involved in the long Jeveron party, but that was before that last split over a year ago.
It actually looks like the Randy one again. Yeah, we were lucky enough to get our game in yesterday. I'm hoping we have a meeting again tonight for baseball, and actually the guys are going golfing, and they looked at the weather. Apparently, after 2 o'clock, it's fine. So that's the thing. Yeah, so yesterday, how do I unpause this? So here's my daughter. She's a catcher, but it's not about this. Yeah, she frames like crazy. There she goes. I don't know why this isn't loading. So this is, our internet is fine. But here we go. Let's just watch this. This is her next favorite thing to do. There we go. She stole home there, and now she's all about stealing. So she told me like, Dad, that's my number one favorite thing. So here comes the frame coming up right there. That's not really a frame. That was just a strike, no problem. And then this is stealing home. And she told me something's wrong with the thing here. But anyway, there it is. There she comes in. Who cares? But yeah. So, I mean, kids are. You said meet the teachers. Obviously, you've met. Well,
we've met them all.
It's just a social there.
It's just a social.
All right, quickly. Yeah, because like you don't want to meet the teachers with 1 week left. It was June 13th already. All right, so we bought some Nvidia and just sold some. So, that. When we first logged in here, I was just like, oh, I want to get long Nvidia. So we punched a little bit there. But then Nvidia, this is the same thing that worked for us yesterday, buying dips. So that's exactly what we're going to try to do again, is try to buy some dips here. So we did get out some for an average price there for flat. So we are right now dead flat on Nvidia, despite it showing my average price, because my first take was 129. Then these last ones are down here at 58. So we'll get one out at 85. Break even on that, and now wait to see where we go here on Nvidia. So right now in the money, but I mean, for now, who knows? Market is pulling back. I'm actually a little surprised at this market pullback, to be honest with you. Still up 0.6. We got a inline PPI, but lower month over month. I thought that would have spiked the market a little bit to hold it, but it's not holding it. So we'll wait to see. Maybe just a quick check on the breadth of Apple here. So still 214, still okay. But yeah, Apple, Nvidia, the two stocks that I'll be looking at along with, I wrote down long Jeveron and GME as well. Sticky note is now out.
Is a movie ticket company. Just noting Roku just popped up in front of me. Didn't really do much. Negative day. Huge move down yesterday. But new deal for Roku and Fandango, announcing a CTV partnership. So heads up on Roku. All right, let's get into what else we need to know here. Sharif's going to lead us off with a look at the market.
54.27, guys, closing at all-time highs. And then we made more all-time highs this morning when we spiked up there into 54.52. So let's just say right offhand, that 50-point level is going to be that key area of resistance that we can't break through. We couldn't break through it yesterday on a closing basis. We couldn't break through it this morning. So 54.50 is the resistance level to the downside. Let's see if we can use that overnight low, 54.26, as support.
All right, if you haven't done so, make sure you go to the website, wait for that pop-up to appear, and then enter your email address. You get the absolutely free watch list delivered right to your inbox every single day. Has everything you need to know in the morning for free to us. It's split season. AVGO, the latest to join the party here. I was just counting up all the analyst notes on this thing this morning. It just keeps going and going and going and going. There's a lot of positivity around this coming off huge report. And then, yeah, throw a split on top of that.
Oh yeah, it was a beat all around. There was nothing bad about this report. EPS 1096, the street wanted 1084. Revenue 12.49 billion. The street was looking for 12, so a beat there. Net income, this is the only thing that really was a gray area. It beat expectations, but it was down year over year. 2.12 billion is how much they took home last year. This time they took 3.48 billion. The reason for that is very simple. The VMware acquisition, that cost them a lot of money. So profit went down. But guess what? That VMware acquisition helped add about 12% to their revenue growth. So kind of paid for itself. The 10-for-1 stock split, Brendo, that comes to us July 15th.
It's 9 is the total number that I can see anyways of either maintaining on the buy side or increase rating and price target. Guys from Analyst today on Broadcom.
That's just the first day. Like imagine all of wait till everyone else makes their adjustments. So you're going to see double that number in terms of analyst actions on Broadcom. It was like you just got all the numbers. They were just beats across the board. I mean, if it was $170, I'd probably be waxing poetic about a dip buy at if it tries to fill in the gap, we'll be trying to bid 165. Well, everywhere in here we try to grab, but. I'm not gonna trade this name. I think Sean said, we're not gonna likely trade this name. After the split, it's gonna be game on for them. I think there's plenty of names out there in chip space that are getting moves and bumps up. Nvidia is gonna be a good one. Don't even sleep on ARM, which has a chance to reach an all-time high today. So, I would be looking for a turn at 165. I'm getting ahead of myself at 16.5, but I will not be trying to catch that. It's difficult trading those $1,000 names because of the spread, and at the open, it's just even double that with the spread. It's insane what the spread is going to look like on a stock like that. ARM's on the radar for me. As I said, this is within a stone's throw for ARM of its all-time high. We've seen a lot of impressive charts recently, and I feel like the one that hasn't been up here enough is ARM almost doubling up since its last dip after earnings. If SoftBank was selling before, yeah, I could imagine they've stopped selling now unless they're selling into all the strength. So the actual all-time high is $164. That 150 level was so key, that previous lower high. I'm not even sure you get a dip buy into there on ARM. So the post-Fed line was 153. And I call these levels post-Fed. It's just where you were when things started at 2 o'clock, the highs then, and then the lows in the afternoon. They tend to be good liquidity levels. So the one that's available for ARM is going to be the 153. Then there's 150 where it broke out from if it does dip. It's just exactly in the middle from the high, the all-time high, and that 153 support. So I don't think there's a very good compelling entry in here on ARM at these levels, but the 53 looks pretty solid if you can even have a chance to get it. And as I said before, every single chip name that I've called up today is up with the exception of Intel. So I think if Intel tries to go green, I think Intel's a short, and I'm going to short it into 31.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I just got a note that one of the guys on my team, he says, oh, he was playing last night and he hurt his Achilles or something. How the hell does he know that? All right, right here. So I was just, look, Broadcom is huge. I mean, we just went over it. I think that was awesome. Brendan or Sharif said July 15th or so. So we're going to wait a month and then we're going to get that split. So at that point, we'll look at it. Let's look at a name that just split. Well, we have NVIDIA coming up eventually anyways. But similar, let me just put it this way. Our charts won't show anything on here just because of the split just is not adjusted properly yet for our charts, and it's all the way down here. So the monthly doesn't really do justice to it. But it's split over. We saw 118, 119, the days of the split. Unfortunately, you don't see it. There it is right there. There's the first reaction down to 117, 118. What a crazy opportunity that was to buy. Just think about that. Just 3 days ago, NVIDIA was at 117, and now you're looking at it at 130. It's just, that's 10% in 3 days, and NVIDIA didn't do anything. They just said, all right, we'll just keep going up with the NASDAQ. So, I don't know. There are no sellers in this name. I don't know what else to tell everybody. Sure, it will float around with the market. I feel like maybe yesterday it was a bit nervous at the end of the day because of Broadcom, but now it's we already know. It's so wild because I think about how easy sometimes just even investing is, and it's just we've known the story about NVIDIA since like the spring of 23 or whatever that quarter was, maybe the fall of 23. And then spring, I think. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, we just put 13% on this name in 3 days. You know, no earnings, no big Blackwell announcements. You know, you have Oracle loving everything. You now have Broadcom loving it. It's just, they are such a monster in this current environment that you have to be and stay long this name. Like, I mean, I remember selling this name at 700 live on the show, and then maybe, I mean, not live, but talking about it, and then $900, and then now it's at 1,300. And like, I thought it was overdone at 900. You know, now we put 40% more on its head. So I don't know. This is just an absolute unbelievable ride, as I realize we're talking about Nvidia in a couple minutes. So let's go over there and talk about Tesla. And then someone in the chat, please tell me where they're getting 56 billion from. And I'm not saying that like facetiously, but I just don't know. So that's, I like to know that so I can talk more educated about it. I could probably ask Perplexity. But I'm sure somebody in the chat will know where they're getting that from. I'm long Nvidia.
All right, it's investor day for Tesla coming up after the close tonight. There was some comments that came out last night after the close suggesting, or from Elon suggesting that this is going to go through. We had a number of not only institutional side investors, but also I think it was the Florida State Pension Plan came out yesterday in support of this pay package. There was a couple other analysts saying absolutely he should get paid. Today's the day. Long story short, today's the day. We'll find out.
And he's confident he's got the vote, so we're about to find out if he does or doesn't. On the table here, two main issues: the $56 billion pay package, which comes in the form of mostly options, and the move from Delaware to Texas. Both issues on the table today. You know, there's been a lot made about big institutional investors, mostly the Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund and the California Pension Fund, all opposing this, amongst others. The people who may be okay with it really haven't spoken out as loud, Brendo, as those who were opposed to it.
Yeah, it's not until 4:30, so it's a decent amount of time after the close. So the market itself won't be really affected when it's actually happening. 190 seems to be a bit of an issue here. Meanwhile, this morning in the pre-market.
Certainly true there, and you know, if it's mostly in options, it should be like you've known about this obligation for some time, so it should be on the books and that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, we're here to trade price action until it happens. Before we get to Tesla, just this BRTX. I know a few people. We talked about the small caps. We mentioned Longeveron and showed Longeveron twice, but BRTX has a now triple top at this $2 level. I know I put it in the chat just because I know some people are looking at it. Gapper to the upside, volume pretty solid at the 14 million. Not much in the way of, I guess, bag hole type levels, so you get to $3.50. So two could break before we even get to the open. I always like dip buys at the open as opposed to taking breakouts at 9:30. And I'm not taking a break at 9:11 in the morning. But yeah, just keep eyes on that one. That $2 break looks pretty spicy there for BRTX. So back into Tesla. I mentioned I'd like some dip levels. You got 83, you got 87. You know, when you, like yesterday, obviously 180 was a pretty key level yesterday, as you can see, but that's going to be wholly irrelevant today. Like if we're dealing with a 180 level, then we've missed a gigantic opportunity to short it, which I'm not really looking to do. It's up 7%, and most of why I'm going to favor a long, even though it's up so far, is just the breakout from what was, like, it was just a long consolidation on the stock. Forever. The stock doesn't really do this, especially Tesla. Other stocks will do this, not Tesla. Like that last month looks like an Intel chart in terms of the amount of volatility that it's had. So the fact that you're breaking back out of some of these previous highs, that 83, the 87, and well, the 90s now come back underneath. But the 87 is still going to be in play. So I'm looking for longs off of previous resistance on Tesla. 87 first and then 83. Finally making a breakout off this 50 period. That's what matters.
All right, so, and thank you again to Henry and some of the other people in here that have confirmed what exactly this is. So Tesla, the pay package is not 56 billion, that's just an estimated number. The stock was booked in 2018 and it was already taken from the float. So, okay, so that's fine. So then there's absolutely, I believe Henry's on here all the time. And shout out to you, Henry, by the way. Thanks for the follow and all the tweets and all that kind of stuff. And I think I commented on one of your posts yesterday. So right there, okay, so thank you for clarifying that. So nothing to do with the stock price. So we're not going to see dilution here, nor are we going to have to touch that that $27 billion in cash that they currently have, according to Trade Ideas. So yeah, look, that makes me like the stock even more now. So I think you just, I said it on the sticky note here, you pay the man his money, and honestly, I just think that it's something that we're going to need to deal with. There it is, 190, 188. I really like these levels here on Tesla. And again, I try to keep things as simple as possible. It's why we're long Nvidia right now. I'm trying to keep momentum plays. I'm trying to play off support and resistance. So I just blasted through, why is someone phoning me? I just blasted through NVIDIA, and I think the same thing's probably gonna happen here with Tesla. I would wait for a 188 or so bottom on this just to see if we could test that early. Tesla does have sort of the pedigree to have wild moves off the open because again, just look at this. Look at the last 5, this is just yesterday. I'm just scrolling back now just because. But like yesterday, we opened the day here, let's just say at 170. We have a high wick there of 173 and then right back down to 169. So you had like a $3.5, $4 range in the first 3 minutes yesterday, right? And then anyways, we can go back and forth. This is the first 5 minutes of the day before. So let's be patient here. One chart does not look like the others. There's going to be a move here. I don't know if it's down or up, but either way, I like the 190 break. I'm not going to get into this one like I am in NVIDIA, but I do think that Tesla needs to be bought on dips. Let's just make sure that we find where exactly that dip spot is. So I'm waiting for Tesla. 188 wouldn't surprise me. It's up on my board to the left of me here to make sure that we get involved if it does start moving around.
NVIDIA, speaking of shareholder meetings, just coming out with this, June 26, mark that down, will be NVIDIA's annual shareholder meeting. So we'll have a look at that coming up. I want to mention this real quick as well. Jumping on the stock split bandwagon is Williams-Sonoma, just announcing a 2-for-1. It's only 2-for-1, but didn't really do anything off of that. Still positive on the day for WSM.
Yeah,
NVIDIA.
Oh, sorry about that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this NVIDIA meeting, so as you mentioned, June 26th, it's going to be at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Shareholders and guests can both attend. Not really much to talk about there. The other headline that we really didn't touch on yesterday, Brendo, was possibly new embargoes coming out from the U.S. government for these chip manufacturers in China. They weren't happy with the embargo that they already set. So looking to add to those, it obviously didn't affect the stock yesterday because we made more. We had gains on both AMD and NVIDIA. But keep an eye on that because we could get more information coming out from the White House with respect to that.
Yeah, another day, more all-time highs here, guys.
Get a call in the morning.
I'm not supposed to be on that call list. It's just a school. There's an assembly today at our school as well. All the kids, they had to make a book or some sort of a writing, and they have to read it in front of the school. So my wife is already going there.
I never want to call
I'm supposed to be on the no-call list, but...
well, no-call lists are... yeah, no-call lists don't ever operate the way that you expect them to, in my estimation. Because there's a bunch of no-call lists I think I'm supposed to be on that I get anyways. Look, NVIDIA's up 3% today. I agree with Sean that you're just looking for areas to dip by. And I think all are valid. Like 127, as long as you're above yesterday's close was 25, but the actual high was 127. As long as you're above that, I think the dips are valid. So if it stays, not about green, it's about it being above that 127. Pre-market low dip, it's done this before, like morning resistance. It did a $2 candle at the open, dipping into not the pre-market low, but pre-market support the day before. So I'm looking for a similar thing. You can go back. It read at the open 2 days ago, did the same thing, dipped into pre-market low, made a fresh high. Didn't end up holding it, but there's another dip and rip situation. So that's what I want to see happen in NVIDIA. I kind of already mentioned what I'm feeling about Intel, that I want to short that one at 31 today.
Yeah, so we're just going back to the well. Brendan sent me a note and asked me what are some key things that you look for in the pre-market. And I responded to him basically with, this is still Tesla, sorry, I was still looking at that stock. I just responded to him with a couple of easy things, and that was one, the first thing is momentum from the past day, right? I mean, we've been looking at NVIDIA now for a while, and it's just been a monster. And yesterday, it was a huge trade to the north side. We actually had this trade. And it was a big one. And, you know, we had the 120, it's in here, 122.50, I think it was. Yeah, this little dip buy opportunity, as Neil mentioned there. So we got long yesterday, and then it was my best trade of maybe of the year, P&L wise, just playing that momentum. And so then Brendan said, okay, well, what about something else? And then I said to him, all right, well, the other thing then would simply be, oh no, did I have to log out and back in, I think, would simply be what you traded yesterday and keeping with, you know, getting your best trade yesterday, see if the trade sets up again the next day. So I just punched long here on Nvidia. I mean, 130 seems to be a magnet again. I mean, we love even dollar levels. Yesterday, you saw what happened at 200, or 2 days ago, 200 on Apple, then 210, then 215. Like, all the levels just kept blasting until eventually 220 was the top. So, you know, 130, I think, has a magnet. I'm going long Nvidia right now, which I am long, and I'm 50 cents in the money and not even 40 cents in the money and not even taking profit. So let's see how far up Nvidia can go from here. I still think it has a lot of room to run. We'll be checking out AMD, and as Neil mentioned, Intel as well. So yeah, we're going to be excited to trade these names today.
Hi, Ramin. GME just popped up here. I was trying to see if there's anything. There's nothing new here, but just popped up on a volume scanner in front of me there, still chopping around in the pre-market. I was missing some data on that chart, FYI. But yeah, if you missed it, we talked about it a little bit early on this morning between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. Elevated, to say the least. Options activity yesterday had a lot of people suggesting that Roaring Kitty might be doing some selling here. Big red day on the daily chart.
Oh, was there ever yesterday? That strike price of $20 that expires on the 21st, the calls that he's holding there, they did 9 times the average daily volume yesterday. A lot of interest in that, obviously, as we get closer to the date. They've dropped about 40% in price. He's at 120,000 of those. To take possession of the shares offered by those options contracts, he's going to need $240 million. Publicly, it's being stated he doesn't have the money, but you know, behind the scenes, who really knows who's financing this? Got to keep an eye on the stock.
Yeah, this was the chunk of data I was missing on that chart. Big selling into the close yesterday, as we discussed earlier, guys.
It was a lot, and obviously spurned by that selling. So, you know, if he's sold to generate cash to be able to exercise, that's one path. As Sean mentioned, he could roll over. Lots of things can happen next week, and they expire on the 21st. Next week's a big week, not just for that. But it's, you know, the year-end, not year-end, sorry, the semi-annual rebalancing, third Friday. So it's a big one next week for GME shareholders and for the overall market as well. When you put in a bottom like we saw on that drop, it was a clean $4 move to the downside without a halt, by the way. That 25 level, it wasn't the bottom the day before, but it certainly was the afternoon ramp spot at that 25 even. It broke it by about 20 cents or so, so there's that and there's 23 to hold on to. You get either one of those two prices today, and that'd be the spot I'd look for a curl in GameStop. If it goes squeezing, I think it would be too easy to say like $30 is going to be resistance because that was where the move started from. I think you just have a better chance of seeing some of those bids today on GameStop before you see the 30.
Yeah, I would think that, you know, that wouldn't be surprised if he was selling to, again, raise a little bit of cash. And I think he'll roll them over. I mean, this guy's having way too much fun to not do another podcast or a live stream. And, yeah, try to get to that billionaire status, honestly. I mean, I feel like, well, what's left for the guy, honestly? Everybody, I think like it's now becoming a media stunt here that, you know, we had Andrew Left on MSNBC or CNBC, I believe, or whatever, the day that Roaring Kitty went live as well. I just feel like it's just a big circus, and I feel like he's going to want to continue it, which is great for the Bulls. I would think he rolls them forward into July, so that's probably why that selling happens. I could see him almost executing all of them on the 21st, regardless of the price, and then just showing his account on the next Monday or whatever and saying, look, now I'm into these July 28 or whatever it won't be the 28th, but whatever the expiration is on the July number. So anyways, that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. So I don't think the story is anywhere from being over with. And the only way to tell that it's going to be over, I think, is like kind of like when you break this like $23, $24 level or so. I feel like then maybe we get into like 18 and then we'll test maybe that $20 level, but so far so good. Like if I'm looking at this stock and you say you want to look at catalysts and levels, I mean, this has been holding 25 as Neil was just mentioning. So I like these levels down here. Are we able to get a $4 move right off the open? Yes. Would that put us into that $23, $22 area that I think is the ultimate key? Yes. So I feel like you could get long today right off the open, like maybe 24 bucks if you're lucky. And then I think it moons to 30. So let's wait. Like you're one cryptic tweet away or something like that from everyone saying, oh my God. Like what if he shows like a cat rolling over? Oh shit, did I just give him some ideas? But like something like that, and then everyone's gonna be like, okay, let's go, and then the stock just goes again. So we'll wait to see what happens here. Will there be some roaring action today in GME? Yes, there will. Let's go find out what's going on with Apple.
Yeah, Apple, I mean, it's very active. I was just checking a ton of volume here pre-market. Once again, we did get a bit of a sell-off into the closes we were talking about with that imbalance yesterday. Following Mr. Powell being on the microphone, but you can see highest volume day yesterday in a long, long time as we got to all-time highs once again, gapping up.
Yeah, I'm not surprised there. The article that I read today was about the new association, the business partnership between Apple and OpenAI. Seems as if OpenAI is not paying Apple, and Apple is not paying OpenAI for this new service agreement where you're going to be able to access ChatGPT through Siri and through other methods. You'll recall that Google was paying Apple to the tune of, I believe, over $20 billion a year, and that was really inflating their services revenue on that side of things. So interesting look here. It looks as if Apple believes that exposure to millions of iPhone users is good enough as payment, and OpenAI is not really arguing with them.
Yeah, I mean, you and I were talking as well on the simple fact that after the keynote speech the other day, was kind of a lot to do about nothing as far as price action was concerned. Then we come in 12 hours, 18 hours later, and the market just buys up the stock. Boom. So do we get a day 3 here, guys, for Apple?
I've never seen this in the morning outside of like a rebalance day. 1.7 million buy imbalance just came out on Nvidia. Now it's 1.9 to the buy side on Nvidia. So that kind of came out of nowhere. Also, the GME shareholder event is at 11 o'clock today, our time. So we'll see what happens with that. It could move the stock, as noted by some people in the chat there. But that imbalance on Nvidia just spiked the stock huge.
I mean, we just talked about, like we don't know this imbalance is coming. We just got out at 30s there. Like I don't know this imbalance is coming. It's just, it goes to talking about what we talked about before. And like I was mentioning to you when Brendan messaged me and says, what are we looking for in the pre-market? And it's like, we're just looking for momentum and the plays. I don't know what's holding right now, 129. I don't know. We just got out of a piece up there at 129.25. We were just sitting there at the quarters. We're sitting there again right now to get out of another piece because look, there's a big seller at 129 right now. It's not, look at this. Look at the shares going through. This is 100 shares. So I just saw thousands go through at 129. Right? And so there's definitely, please pay attention to this. If you are trading with me immediately right now, it's 927 and there is a sell. When it breaks this thing's going to 130, maybe immediately. But the thing is right now, it's not, look at it. Look at the hundreds. I mean, now it's slowed down, but there it is. Look at that. Hundreds and hundreds of shares going through when all that's posted is 1,000 shares. And there was ones there as well. So not only they're reserving on ARCA, they were also reserving on NAS. See, there it goes again. Look at this. Look at the shares going through and then look at the size here, right? And it's not just all, look, there's a 2,000 share print and it's not just dark pools. This is lit market action right now, live prints, not able to break 129. So we'll wait for this. The position board's not working again. There it is. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Let's see if we can get going now for Nvidia. We're offering 129.30. Let's see if we can get that out right now, but there appears to be a little bit of sell action. There it goes. Yes, sir. We just called this play again. Let's see what winds up happening now through 129 and change. There it goes. Oh, now it shows me short. Okay. Well, the position board is way off. If I am short Nvidia, please call some kind of emergency services because something is wrong with me. All right, let's go back over to the desk. Oh yeah, Apple, by the way, is on here. We're going long Apple, but with only 2 minutes to go. You're gonna have to hear me talk about it while the market's open.
We're continuing with these lesser known patterns today. We're going to talk about the 3 inside up and 3 inside down pattern on how to trade. If you're into that kind of thing, catch it with Adair and I on how to trade at 11.
Yeah, so very quickly here with Apple, you saw that big sell event, 220 was the high, like 3 or 4 times it attempted to break 220. If it gets up there based on what I saw when I was trying breakout trades on Apple, I would short the 220 level. At least that's the spot that I would attempt it, because that was the only place that it showed weakness for real in yesterday's trade. We're trading away from the bottom, which is this 212, 213. That's what I like for dip buys. I just like the support that got put in the pre-market and got put in the aftermarket for Apple. If it does break that down, you got to go all the way back into 05s and 08s and that kind of stuff. So I just want to play the range that we saw in the afternoon on Apple there. So it's tracking toward 215. I'm not really looking breakout. I think this is more of a dip buy based on the heavy action that we saw going into that close yesterday. It was nasty to the downside. There was a break on that small cap stock, that BRDX. It did actually go through that $2. I said I wouldn't take the break pre-market. So if you have it, good luck. I think it's not that big of a halt candidate. GameStop, on the other hand, could be off of that open. I'm on the bid, but I'm about to cancel my Nvidia bid. I have a rule about how far away I have bids and breakouts. It's now closer to a 130 break than it is to a 127 dip buy. So I think the first look would be a break 130. If it doesn't do that, then I'll still be on the bid for 127, but it's too far away from that. With only 10 seconds to go, let's get the countdown going on this Thursday. Adara, let's ring it in actually 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go.
All right, here we go, man. We're going to take a 130 break on NVIDIA. We're already cruising on this name, but again, we would not be surprised if there is a dip buy opportunity like we had yesterday on NVIDIA, and if that does wind up happening, let's go dip buying at those levels we talked about, 128, 128.50 or something for NVIDIA. I still like so we got some out there at 50s or so. I still like the 130 breakout on this back down into 128.50. I feel like that's going to be the next area to buy, which is where we are long. I don't know what the position board's just not working, which is fine. We'll get it working soon. Tesla is doing the tank that we said it would do, but doesn't mean that we're not getting long. We just got to wait. We just got to wait for it here on Tesla with a little bit of a pullback. So I'm going to hold off on trying to buy Tesla here. I'm not sure about what that pay package, why it's up that much on that news, because, I mean, I don't know. But all right, so we'll wait for that one. We do know that we like Apple, though, of course, and we do know that we like NVIDIA. Those are the two names.
Yeah, actually,
right now, I'm only in NVIDIA, and I'm in NVIDIA long at 128.70 right now. So let me take out another piece right here. We'll take another piece out right now at 70s, and there it goes, man. Hopefully we can there's the price. So now we're long. You see what we're doing right now on NVIDIA. It's already right there. It's a banger. It's $1 in the money already here on NVIDIA. We took this trade with confidence. Let's take the 130 break as well. That's going to be dangerous, I feel like. But with the market just doing this, imagine if the market blows up, then to the upside, then I think that we should be able to get something there. Tesla's
blow
trying
up
to
to the upside.
Yeah.
That is the key. You don't want it to actually blow up. So while that happened, I did get Tesla a couple of times on dip buys in here through 187, but I was about to tell you, I scalped some out there the first time, the $0.50, then it got to 188, then the curl back in. So it doesn't hold the 187 after all. It's a huge gap. I said 83 after this level, and so that's what we'll have to wait for. But we got a couple of quick executions on those bounce plays. GameStop, nothing really happening. Longeveron, by the way, is holding that 250 level and looking pretty good. I have my order set for a break on NVIDIA if it does go, but it's dancing between 129 and 130. Said I would short Intel if there was strength in Intel to be shorted. As you can see, it just broke down lower. So I'll give it a chance that maybe you can still make a move with the market here. For now, I wanted to short a pop. We're not going to get it. Apple, no dip buy to be had. It's through 215 and continuing to go higher. So Apple looking incredibly strong.
Yeah, we are face slapping it on Apple. We're in Apple right now, but just at 215. So as Neil said, no real dip buys. Let's just sit in it and see what it wants to do. Oh, sorry, here it is right here. There's Apple. So we did take some out at 20s, but I don't know. I'm trying to support basically this 213.50 area. Let's see if we can get back into that area for more dip buys. But here we go, man. Let's just let's hot dog cannon it again. I mean, we're going to go 2 for 2 here. So far, it's really early. It's only 9:33, but we're long Apple and we're long Nvidia, the two top names here on the sticky note, and they're both just rocking right now. There's 50 cents in the money right now for Apple. 50 cents. Here's 70 cents in the money for Apple. 70 cents. Here's almost 80 cents. What's up, Adara?
Keep an eye on Billy here. This one was really strong in the pre-market. Now up over 10% on volume. Not seeing any news on this, but Chinese ADR, BILI. Nice look here, guys.
I know you're obsessed with
trades.
Billy. Oh my goodness.
Who is?
This morning. Just say Adara was enamored with Billy and couldn't find news on it, and we're like, who cares what's going on with Billy? Come on, we got everything else going. No, 87 just came right back in for Tesla. It's another 40, 50 cent scalp trade, but I'm gonna have to keep these stops tight because it's not really giving the bounce that I want into VWAP. So if we do get a little something bigger, we're gonna hold for some 88s, but I have a higher low stop out. There it is. Pretty much the same level, like this 186.75. So we'll stay up on it because we're taking some profits. Longeveron also it didn't tank. I said tank in the chat, apologies for saying tank, but it just made a huge reversal. $2 is the level I liked. It's tracking down toward this $2 level as we speak. So if it's gonna bounce somewhere, $2 is about the only place that I'm interested in picking this one up. So we've taken a couple shots at Tesla, been profitable, but no real big move to the breakout. Still no 130 breakout on Nvidia, unfortunately, but it is getting pretty close. And apparently Mara is going to the upside as well. I'll track that in a second, but I'm looking for a Longeveron dip buy first.
I mean, yeah. Okay, so let's watch out. Here comes Nvidia pretty quickly back into the downside right there. So again, the party's not going to stay forever. So you're going to have to be very, very careful with what you're doing here, as I will have to be. I mean, it's not you guys. I'm in this position right now, and if you guys are as well, just be careful because we're trying to watch and see if we can hold out on Nvidia. Look, a breakthrough 128, and I think that we can get out of this name. We don't need to be in it forever, and let's just be careful with it. So we're going to get out on a little bit of a break back down below 128. We don't want like the money that we made yesterday to disappear because of a play today, but I still like the long. The only thing is right now, and I know the market.
Refresher at 50.
Yeah, I mean, we just got more long. We're long at 128.50. So, but let's just see what winds up happening here. We already saw that big seller at 129. So at some point, that seller is going to probably want to ring some kind of a register right there. So let's see if they have to buy those shares back. But here it's coming in, man, a lot quicker than I liked it to. But it's coming in, and it is Nvidia back into the downside right now. It's a good thing we already took some profit, but right now it looks like it wants to break lower. We're gonna get out at a 128, so watch out here for that break. We did average more into Apple. Our Apple trade is down here at 213, so we do have more shares waiting at 214 here for AAPL. Come on, Nvidia, let's go. Let's do something special again.
Yeah, let's see if it can. Oh, GameStop, by the way, is trying to break out higher, but I'm into Nvidia off the 128. We were looking for a dip buy. There was a refresher at 50s. I went in front of it. Right after we got it, it broke and then reestablished.
Just go.
Still on GameStop. Keep having to enter twice. This gets back up to those highs. I'm taking a 130 break, so I'm out in front of 130 and then long again over 130. On any long trade in GameStop, in Nvidia, I'm out in front of 130 and then long again on a 130 breakout. Tesla's still battling 87. Longeveron doesn't seem to want it just yet. Just very quickly, I wanted to get to one name that we did not mention. Dave & Buster's was down over 10% in the pre-market. It didn't quite tag 10%. Oh, it did. Yeah, it was already down 10% in the pre-market and then tagged under 10% at the open. So it is SSR. Looking for an even dollar bounce. It might have done so at the $45 level. But if you're looking for an SSR bounce, that's the only one to be had. As said, I am covering into 130 on Nvidia and then breaking out on the 130 is a separate trade.
Dude, if this thing gets to 130, and again, I hope that. I just want everybody has to understand that, like, everyone's trading their own style and many different share sizes. I'm getting out, even right now. Like, this is already a monster trade for me, but bidding and buying those 128.50s. So, again, do your own stuff, and that is one of the disadvantages of what we're doing. We don't exactly show our share size, so we're just gonna have to know that, I'm gonna start to scalp some of this out as we go, and if this goes to 130, goddamn. All right, what's up, Adara?
Keep an eye on some of these smaller cap crypto names and miners right now. Here we have Iris Energy here, IREN. This one up about 6.5%. Hut 8 here, HUT up about 7.5%. We're seeing a bit of a move in Bitcoin back above that 68,000 level. So small cap miner names getting a nice move up here on that, guys.
Yeah, Mara is absolutely flying. That is a pretty large candle through yesterday's highs on Mara, that 21 level. I didn't really think that would come into play. I had it the other way, 19 for a dip buy in Mara, so we can throw that out the window. If it holds 21, this could absolutely fly, but that 70,000 still looms
Oh, man.
for Mara. So as far as I'm concerned, I'd like to see it hold that bid, and then it would be more interesting to get involved. NVIDIA is about to track that $0.50, 129.5. Once it gets to today's high, cover, breakout, long, all of that good stuff. And Tesla's tracking back toward that 190 as well.
Oh, man. I mean, here we go. So far, so good there. NVIDIA, we just took some out at 30s again on this name. And look what's happening to Apple right now. Apple right here is $1.50 now in the money and trying to go even higher. So, again, the top two names here on the sticky note, taken with confidence today. And, yeah, we just, we bought dips and who knows? It's still so early, man. It's only 9:40. So let's just wait to see what winds up happening here. Man, this has been such a good little run here over the last couple days. There it goes again. All right, well, if you're in these trades, I'll see you guys later. Enjoy the beach and have a couple margaritas or do whatever you're doing, and maybe just drink some water. Probably the best thing to do right there would be to have some water. All right, I'm gonna get out of some more NVIDIA there. It looks like it does want to push a little bit lower through 129 and change. And again, I'll take out a little bit more here at 10 if we can. It looks like it wants to, oops, we're still on Apple. NVIDIA looks like it wants to go lower. Apple's still a monster, but NVIDIA, yeah, I should start our days with espresso. Whatever I started my day with the last couple days, Ramin, I should be starting with every day. This just continues to be quite the couple minutes off the open here in this market. So let's just go, like I said to Neil, man, or like I said out loud, if this gets to 130, then just let's get Obi on the desk because I'm gonna go party somewhere. Maybe we'll do that CN Tower walk and then take some pictures because we're feeling pretty lucky. All right, here we go. There we go. See you, Chef Joe. Chef Joe is done as well. Chef Joe, go enjoy some of those porterhouses. But there it goes, man. Double barrel dollar winners, 2 for 2 here today.
Yeah, no red ones on yet, but we only have 2 trades so far. I'm going to get BRTX as well. That just broke out the high. Looks like it's going and Longeveron is not. So it's, sorry, BRTX. I might have said BRDX. BRTX, now a higher low. Just broke out the quarters. Load. There we go. Looking for a 2. We're going to have to take the dip back into the previous high, which is 215. I thought it might be a Longeveron kind of day for the small cap names, but it is going to be BRTX. I'm on the offer NVIDIA about 10 cents higher. We just got it. So NVIDIA is now going to be the breakout trade. So resisted 129.50. 130 break is going to be next for NVDA.
128.50.
And 190. We dip bought a couple of times in Tesla. Now going to take the break if it does hold a 190 breakout. Looks like it's going to come any second now. If we get an opportunity to short Intel, I'll let you know. The market's starting to come up, so I think we might get a chance at the only thing I wanted to short would have been that, and we're on the offer, but no fills just yet. So breakout order is going back in on NVIDIA. Dips are still back in at the 128. Let's go to Adara.
Keep an eye on Arista Networks here. This one pushing up and gaining volume. Right now up about 5% for ANET. I'm not seeing any news on this, but nice push to the upside yesterday. They got a price target increase from Morgan Stanley, and they're pushing towards this previous resistance level in the daily chart as well. So Arista Networks, guys.
All right. Look, man, it's been a good morning so far, so let's just keep the good vibes going. And just keep looking for those trades to come through. Look, on the sticky note today, we also wrote down the 1 week name that we would want, and it was Amazon, and Amazon's just headed to the low side here. So I feel like, and it just reminded me because Neil was like, oh, if we're going to short something. So I was going to short Amazon at some point. Now I think like we might have a good level here at 186.20 if it does come back up into that level. So I'm going to put an offer there just in case we go higher. But like I'm just really impressed with some of the movements here today on second and third day plays. for Apple. We'll take another piece out here on Apple. Again, we're $1 in the money on this trade. We bought it off 215, and the best out is 216.40 and change one more time. All right, so we are, here comes another possible reload situation for Nvidia. I mean, we'll take another piece, okay, or not. We'll take another piece out right there at 129. We just got 129.30s, 129.40s, 129.50s. And again, you know, this is why I'm saying to you guys, it's the difference of trading like 1 or 2 contracts versus 10 contracts or something, right? If you have 1 contract and you're looking for 130 break, that might come through. But if you have 10 contracts down there at 128.50, you might want to take something off the table just because that 130 is such a huge level. And I don't know, okay, well, I'm taking some off the table. So I'm trying to like talk as we trade here. And sometimes that could be a little bit difficult, but that's the idea that I'm having right now. So have a lot on and just be able to take them off and then go longer again through 130. So it's just ringing the register, right? Celebrating some of these trades. I'm not here tomorrow, which, but that's okay. We'll make it back and we'll make some today, right now, immediately. So let's wait to see what winds up happening here. Right now, it's looking pretty good here for a nice upside move. We're $1.60 in the money on Apple and $1 in the money on Nvidia. 2 for 2, the double barrels are firing today.
Let's go. Home runs to the upside. I love it. You got to explain the trade, the plan of action, the breakout. I have my order set to cross by about like 20 or 30 cents on Nvidia to make sure we grab it, but we'll probably get a great fill like yesterday. BRTX, sorry, we got 217 long. I just got to push into 230. There's a big seller at 230 a couple of times in here. If it breaks, I'm holding for 50s or out in front of 50s. I've moved my stop up to 215, so we can't do worse than a couple of cents underneath break even. It was a breakout that we missed it too, and then we just took the dip into the previous breakout price. Let's go to Adara.
Keep an eye on Spotify here, SPOT. Not seeing much of a reaction in the stock yet, but this report just came out from the Rolling Stone saying that apparently some music publishers are filing an FTC complaint against Spotify, citing fraudulent business practices. So keep an eye on this SPOT. This news just coming out here, guys.
Fraudulent business. Okay, that's not a good word that you want to hear, but...
No, you don't like the fraud word.
Oh, the spread on that. Yeah, you know, that's not doing a lot of volume, and it's got a pretty big spread. Let's stay away from Spot. Let that one settle down. It's not even... There's not even any prints on the stock right now. So Nvidia's still not breaking yet. Looks like it is going to soon. Yeah, you can actually see the stop orders in, like it's up there crossing to 25. So when 130 breaks, you know, I'll send an order out to 130.25 cents and then get whatever price we're able to get. Tesla's still trying to track higher. GameStop, which we thought would be a dip play, is starting to show some signs of weakness. It was breaking out earlier. Remember, if it dips down into 25, looking for a 25 bid, it just failed 27 and tracking a little bit lower. So some weakness over there in GameStop. Intel, I'm going to adjust plan on Intel because it's almost at $30 already.
Ooh.
This happened the other day where I was like, yeah, let's short Intel, and then never actually got into the short. And then all of a sudden it was at that $30 support level next. So we went long off the $30 level because that was the next trade. So down 2%, 30's been a big wall for Intel. If there's size or anything on the bid, I'll probably just join it at like 2s or 3s. So Intel is the dog of the day.
Yeah, for sure. Good call.
Down 2% on that.
Oh, good call on that, man. I mean, that was
And they suck.
You were looking at that. So, all right. Now let's try Amazon. Amazon came up to that level that we thought. So 186, 186.50. I mean, we can weight this up to 187. You know, sometimes we like to look at pre-market levels. We know that we know that I know that I like the short, but at the same time, you know, you could be wrong, especially at 9:45. So let's hold out. Yesterday we were wrong on Amazon until we were right. So again, that's not necessarily the best strategy just to average into these trades, and I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to give 187 a look upside. Okay, we just took out more shares on Nvidia. Ooh. Like this is starting to get like we're now starting to. I really feel like base out here at this VWAP area, and you could really be in for a nice move here if it takes out that 130. So let's stay there. We're still $1.50 or whatever in the money here on Apple, but that's not moving. So Apple is not really something that I'm super excited about right now as far as huge upside potential, but because we haven't really tested too much support. We came down once and we should have bought it again, but we didn't. And now you're starting to go back up. So maybe Apple goes. I'm a little more weary of it just because of the move that it's had. It's been so dramatic. And not to say that Nvidia hasn't had just as equally sick, if not sicker move. But again, look at the volume. This is 50 million shares. We already know sort of this story. They have the Broadcom. By the way, let's check out what Broadcom is doing. I was going to say, maybe if Broadcom is going the other way, Broadcom's not doing anything right now. So let's just see if NVIDIA wants to hold this. I may lower the amount of shares and just do a couple hundred or whatever if NVIDIA breaks 130. But so far, so good here on the NVIDIA break. What's up, Abe?
Keep an eye on Barnes & Noble Education here, BNED. This one has been on the move a little bit over the last few weeks. No new catalyst for this one today, but yesterday they did announce that they have a new CEO, Jonathan Shar. So keep an eye on BNED, 24% short float, getting a bit of an increase in volume here, guys.
Yeah, just remember, like with that split, it's going to be less liquidity on Barnes & Noble. It's no longer a 9-cent stock, right? So keep that in mind when you're trading it. Even though it's like, I think it's $7 or $8, that's still going to be wild in terms of spread. ARM is still underneath its all-time high, $164. So there's still some room to go. It's up 3.5%. It's been a rocket ship. It just went 160 on a breakout. So I'll look to take the stairs if that's what's going to happen here on ARM. We did want to dip by, but the range was so ridiculous that I didn't think it would be likely we get any kind of a dip. So if it does pull back into 160, which it's doing right now, I'll look to take the stairs up. If it can't hold that, VWAPs at 159 will be the next level for ARM. Still about the same thing on NVIDIA, not much change there. No break yet on Tesla 190, but it is getting, every time it gets within 50 cents, I'll say something, and it just got to 189.5 on Tesla. So that's still trying to go into the upside. Come on, get to 30s or get to 60s. ARM. And 30s, I mean NVIDIA, and 160, I mean ARM. I want to see it bounce down at this level. ARM with even a 20 or 30 cent spread might see a consolidation or wait for a consolidation the way it's trading off the open. It's pretty thin.
All right. What else you guys want to talk about? GME? Yeah, okay, Ash, we'll look at GME. Look, I'm still waiting for 130 to break. I don't really have too many buys. I'm going to get out if it breaks 128. So we've talked about NVIDIA just in case we do get that move back down in for NVIDIA. We'll buy a little bit more at 128.50, and then we'll drop it at 128 break. Don't need to be in this name. We've already cashed out a heck of a lot of money on this name, so we'll wait for it for now, and then just see if our Amazon trade wants to go, as Apple just making new highs right now. So, and we're long Apple. And again, the number one trade idea on here is Apple. The number two is Nvidia. The number three is Tesla 190. So you can have a look at that. The Amazon short is on here as well. And then just notes to make sure that I'm able to look at and focus if I need to on another play, which would be GameStop or Longeveron, both of which not moving. Well, GameStop's not moving. LVGN.
Oh, there was just a size that broke on NVIDIA.
There was size that broke on NVIDIA. Okay. What am I doing? LGVN, isn't it? Yeah, okay, there it is. Sorry, my bad. All right, so this is going downside as well. So some of these meme stocks right now will have to be put on hold for me anyways. And as Neil just mentioned, we only have 10%, a little bit more than 10% left. We have about 20%, a little bit less. We have about 15% left or so of this NVIDIA trade. I mean, all of our outs, we haven't even got out of anything lower than where we are right now. So a little bit of a pullback would make a little bit of sense to me there if it does happen. And meanwhile, and I said I had more confidence in NVIDIA, but meanwhile it's Apple. That's all the way up. So we'll have to wait and get one more piece out here on Apple. Let's just do that right now. Fire off the hot dog cannon, because I saw Chef Joe even say in the chat there that he agrees. And it's like, if you are in a position where you have a significant amount of shares and then you're seeing P&L, and this is where I say that I chase P&L, and it's, you know, I mean when I say that. And when you're seeing this in the money, you have to reward yourself and take some out. So that's exactly what we did. So as it falls back in right here, we're kind of just ho-humming this trade. Let's see if we can get a little bit more action now to the upside, as we'll wait to average in right now at 128.50 here on NVDA. Meanwhile, Amazon is trying to do something. I'm going to take some more here at 50. I'm waiting for 80s and then going to use 187 as my out. So if that winds up triggering, it winds up triggering. So that's the thing. Price? Apple just went to the downside. I guess they might have heard me say I was selling it, but just kidding. I have no idea what just happened with Apple. Apple just got clocked right
That
there.
was, yeah, that was a pretty big, that's a pretty big candle on Apple, right into VWAP. Like nothing came in the air, whatever. There's no news on Apple and it's into VWAP. I'm buying the dip into 15s. So Apple, it's not on my chart, but Apple just dipped into 215 from 216 and dumped right into VWAP in there. I did not get filled at 20s there. Okay, so VWAP's at 30. At the end of the day, I mean, there was no news, I said. It was just a big red candle on Apple. And if it can hold 15s, great. Oh, I just added to BRTX as well. That came back into 218. So that's also headed back in. The high still that 230 level on BRTX. But obviously Apple, big red candle, but it's probably bouncing right now. The NASDAQ, for what it's worth, wicked the high of the day and then pulled back. It could be related to that, but there's no news. It was just a run-of-the-mill random move down.
I mean, Apple just came in, so we'll buy it. All right, nice move there. Back up for Apple. We just bought 20s there, 25s out some 50 right now. We'll just put another quarter back in our pocket. I mean, we have to do that kind of stuff, right? Now let's see if it goes back up to the upside. We are very aware that, as Neil was just mentioning, there, like any story here on Apple could hit
It wasn't
at any
a story though.
I don't know if it was or not, but I mean, I'm buying those. It doesn't appear to be. It probably was. But right now, we'll put chicken dinner winners on the board here for Apple. But like Neil said, if this keeps on going to the downside, then obviously there is going to be a story, and there is one. Apple doesn't just drop $1.50 like that. So I just don't know it yet. Maybe you guys do. We'll find out what happened here with Apple on that move down. We also did buy Nvidia dips. I mean, this is what we're talking about. And it's not that we're not going to go to the grave with this. We're already out at 128 if it does break lower. So that's my idea here. And so far, so good. The only one that's not working out, and I'm like probably the biggest NASDAQ bull around, and I'm here shorting Amazon. So I thought this name was going to be a good opportunity to short it. I'm sitting here at 80, which just fill me at, okay, good. I don't mind losing, but like I wouldn't want it to hit 80 and then absolutely tank when that was like kind of my line in the sand. All right, so now we're there. Let's see what happens at 187 now upside on Amazon. What's up, A?
This new small cap runner coming through, ZAPP, ZAP EV. This one is up just under 100% right now, signing a memorandum of understanding with Bounce Electric for this manufacturing and sales deal in India. Also worth noting here, we do have a pretty small float in this one, 1.6 million shares, so keep an eye on ZAPP, currently halted, guys.
I mean, look at this dip buy again on Nvidia. We're going to lose on Amazon. Amazon is gone. Amazon's through 187 right now and gonzos. So we'll give some back here on Amazon. But look what's just happening with Amazon. With Nvidia. We talked about the price that we wanted to reload it at. We reloaded it there. And then, so we'll spin the loser on Amazon. We'll spin the loser. We should do the fail right there. Amazon takes out 187. So huge move. Red to green on Amazon up to 187. I still like the short here, but we're going to have to let it settle down. Huge trade alert.
The second Apple
Nvidia
went to the downside, Amazon went up, Meta went flying. I feel like there could have been some weird rotation thing that just happened because it's a monster green candle at this same moment while Apple is dipping in Meta up here $3. So it wasn't just Amazon. I actually think Meta's was the bigger move. So just alert to that. Meta wasn't on my radar. Apple, we did do the dip buy, but I said take some profit right away when it continued to fall. I'm on the bid trying to catch in front of 215. We're about to get it. I took some out in front of 60s, and it's still looking a little bit heavy over there on Apple. Meta, as I said, looking really strong. I just paid for locates and ARM because that rejected the you-know-what out of that 160 level and suddenly does not look as strong as it did before. This is a pretty weak-looking stock after that breakout. If it can hold 157, I think there's a chance at a dip buy. But I just paid for locates in case this falls apart on ARM. I'm not shorting it right now, but that was a pretty big rejection off the 160, so I'm at least getting ready for the opportunity.
All right, I'm going to try one more time here on Amazon because, like, honestly, whatever happens, happens, and we already shut our trade off, the first one. We'll be back in here at 187. I mean, I have no idea what that move was about or what Apple was about, but at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter. This is a shout out to Chef Joe and everybody else because we stayed long and true to Nvidia, and there's the reload. I mean, you almost can't. We have the same prices reloaded twice for 75 cents and $1 pretty much each time. So she would? What's up, Adara?
There's some more news here on Boeing. Currently down about 1%. This is still all coming through here, but basically, apparently, Boeing is saying that it's working closely with the FAA on this fastener issue with its 787, saying that the 787 deliveries have not been paused, and the latest delivery was on Tuesday. It's just kind of an upgrade here from Boeing. However, they are investigating, apparently, a new quality problem on some undelivered 787s involving that fastener. So the new 787 news on Boeing, trying to recover here, but just keep an eye on BA, guys.
Oh, right. We'll keep an eye on Boeing.
It actually just bounced $2 off the lows point, by the way.
Okay.
So I know it's bad news, but it broke 180, went to 179. It's back at 181. Boeing is, it's had a lot of a bad run and all that kind of bad stuff, but it's not exactly tanking here on Boeing. So just, you want to give the move and see what's happening to the stock. I hope it doesn't do too poorly, obviously, but that is what it is. AMD, a lot of people are yelling in the chat, how come you're not talking about AMD? AMD's tanking. AMD's at 158, however, and it's not 30 on Intel, but 157 has been a rock bottom for AMD. It got there a couple of days ago. That'd be the only spot that I would go for any kind of a long on AMD. Speaking of Intel, I said if it would bounce off 30, I would take it. It bounced off 30.15, so not quite at that bottom. There might be a chance to short pops off of VWAP here on Intel, which is coming in at about 35 or so. 34 technically, but once it's at 30.30, it's in the pocket.
All right, Apple is down. It is, I don't know if these are Apple bottom jeans or just Apple bottom, but like right now, you're starting to go down, and I wish I would have. I was actually looking at Meta there for a second. I thought I was waiting at 214 to buy, but I guess I was not. I do have a stop order down there, which is strange that I don't have a buy order down there as well. We should have just got a heck of a lot longer on Apple, and we did not. So we'll take some out now as it comes all the way back, and now we're starting to print again here on Apple. So that was my bad. We should have been sitting there. I mean, that's exactly the level that we like. 200 period pullback. So we're now sitting there with a little bit more shares as we go to the downside here again. And with the busiest person at Trader TV Live, it's Miss Adara with yet again another segment. And this one is called Happening Now.
Both the SPY and the NASDAQ currently positive to start things off on a Thursday. The NASDAQ is quite a bit stronger. A lot of these moves up are motivated by these gains in tech, Nvidia, Apple, Tesla, all very strong here. Lots of things to talk about as well. GameStop, again, back on the rise. We also had some inflation data. Second day in a row, we've had inflation prints lower than expected. CPI, now PPI this morning. So nice look here on the inflation side coming off that FOMC meeting yesterday. Later today at 12 p.m., stay tuned for not one, but two potential Fed speak related things here. We do have U.S. Treasury Secretary Yellen speaking at 12 alongside Fed's Williams. Not at the same time, but just both speaking at 12 p.m. So definitely keep an eye on that. Also worth noting here, I did mention Tesla to the upside, currently up just over 7%. They have their shareholder meeting today at 4:30. Lots of things on the horizon here, specifically votes with regards to ratifying Elon Musk's $56 billion pay package and potential reincorporation move to Texas. So keep an eye on TSLA with that in mind. We also have Broadcom up here, not necessarily a day trading stock. This one, though, still up about 14%. Lots of positive analyst notes as well here after its earnings. They beat across the board and announced a 10-for-1 split with the stock to start trading on a post-split basis as of July 15th. Last but not least, of course, GameStop here, currently just ranging here for GME, but it is worth noting there is a shareholder meeting there at 11 a.m. Also, some speculation that Roaring Kitty may have exercised some of his options. So keep an eye on all these names here. And a pretty action-packed Thursday, guys.
Yeah, may have exercised.
Yeah, we don't know. I think if he did, like, he's probably just rolling it over. There's Nvidia, another dollar. This time we can hit the dollar club because this is a reloaded position right there for Nvidia. And like we said, if you're joining us for the first time, hit the like, hit the subscribe. We will, tell you our positions, tell you our stops. There's Nvidia, it's $1, it's a winner, and it's going to be by far the biggest stock here. And I was just saying to Neil, man, it's been a little bit of a tough morning as I look around, but we'll wait to see. I mean, it's just been pretty choppy, and I think that's been part of the problem. I mean, as long as like I was saying, as long as you're trading the best names and you understand that you have your stop orders in and you're trying to play momentum. I mean, there's Nvidia. And, it's always a good sign when the stock that you've been talking about the most is your best stock. Our worst stock, though, is one that we did have on the sticky note as well, and it is Amazon. And Amazon right here, I mean, we're trying to wait for some 80s again. It went to 70s. Let's see if it will now pull back a little bit. It was weak yesterday. It was weak today early. It hasn't been the greatest. But remember I said this, that I think this is going to blast up and we were just waiting for a catalyst. So I don't know if there's one inbound or not. But for right now, let's hold on to this short. I do have some bids at 187 just to get some out if it does fall back in there, and then hoping that we can get a retracement back to the 200, which is 186.50. But definitely been a little wrong on this name, to say the least, here on Amazon for today. And then we got hit yesterday short, and then we got out, and then we put the short back on once Powell left, but this is a no Powell trade today. I'm just trying to trade now, basically off of these levels where we stopped yesterday. That's that short that we hit yesterday. So we were short into this. It's actually, now that I look at this, it's ridiculous because it's the same trade. I was short here yesterday, right here. We got out on the 200 or out on VWAP, and then we passed it back through. I did the exact same trade yesterday and lost. And I did it again today. So there you go. And Chris mentioned in the chat that I said yesterday on the show that I wanted to short Apple today. So that's my bad because we're up on it. Apple's going to be P&L number 2. But at the same time, that short did pay. The short's been better than the long. But I can't complain. We're still up. Really nice on the long. So let's still see if we can hold out for that one. Now, $1 in the money Nvidia, huge in the money on Apple, net P&L wise. And then Amazon is the huge loser, waiting for this one to fall back in.
So Tesla's about to, for the umpteenth time, Tesla's about to break 190. I'm making an adjustment on, I'll get to NVIDIA in a second, but I'm making an adjustment on NVIDIA. See, I still have those stickies, but here we go. What did it, yeah, I have stuck. I just punched some out for 5 cents because that went out at the wrong price, but it is what it is. I've got the stop in. It was 190 break. I'm giving it to the 75. You know, it looks like it broke up, but I've been having like some stickies. So when it breaks a key level, I got in a position it had to break higher, but then I didn't really see any bids that were tracking above it. It's now back above, so I'm going to have to get it a second time through. So whether or not it broke, I got in and out, and I think I might have been in early before it actually broke to the upside, which does happen every now and then. It's a bit unfortunate, but yeah, because I got out and it was like, why is it not actually above 190? So I'm gonna try to get back into this one, and I'm adjusting NVIDIA. I've been marked to that 130 level, but the high is 129.75 that it's held like 3 times in here. So I'm thinking it's a flat top break at that level. I'm gonna go back. I don't wanna get off Tesla because I'm back on the bid here. But if it's gonna break this top, it's coiling into this high, not 130. 130 is just a round number. So I'm gonna take the actual local high break of 129.75, and then at 130 it can just be an add. So just a little bit of an adjustment. It's still a breakout trade. I did get the VWAP pushback into Intel and took some out. So that's still looking awfully weak, and I would be out of that trade if it so much as sniffs that $30 level. I think that's a long.
Okay, guys, like I said, it's been a minute here today. Look at we just got, by the way, we just got a 215 fill there on Apple. What is this price? 214.90, 214.88, something like that, as that continues to go as well. Look, today will be another, I mean, we'll lift the trophy today, but it's not like a super crazy day by any stretch of the imagination. We're up about a third of what we were, no, a little bit less than that, about 20% or so of what we were up yesterday at this time. But like I said, still a good day. All these trades still trying to pan out for us. And look what's happening right now to Amazon. Oh, no. A nice little downside move for Amazon right now. So here we go. We'll put it right back in. We have the same amount of shares here. We'll still be net down. I mean, we have to let this trade settle itself out. But right now, we'll figure this out to the downside. I said that we were thinking about a retracement back into 50s. So if that happens, let's just put a bid out there, take some fills as we head back into that level of 186.50. And then if it continues to go lower after that, then hopefully we have enough shares left that we're able to do some damage on that print. But there it comes right now. We've done it a little bit right now. We'll slap it up for the reload and for all the other trades that we have on today, including dollars in Apple, dollars in Nvidia, and now pennies or 50 cents in Amazon, but we're red on that stock. So yeah, not too many red names or not too many green names around here. I know that you're in Intel now. I hope that can print out.
Well, you just got to keep it in the pocket. Like for me, I'll like small hits all day long just to be consistent with it. 191 just went, so my book's looking a little bit better. It was a break on 191. We had the 180 break. Looks like Tesla does not want to hold a 190 break. I've adjusted order on that Nvidia 129.75. Looks like it could be coming in there. So just going to get my stop in for that one on Tesla. We did grab Intel to the short side, and I do want to grab.
Dumb.
So there's the low on Intel. It just got to 30.20. 30 even is an out. I think 30 is a long off that level. It's been holding for a long time. GameStop's, it ticked to 25 even. Sorry, 25.50, not 25 even, and caught a gigantic bid. So it looks like the buyers came in a little bit early on GME. We like the 25. We like yesterday's lows, but it's already a pretty big pushback through. So if this is the bottom, I might look at a VWAP level for GameStop. If this is the low, I'll look for a VWAP hold. I only want to be long unless it's $30 on GME or a fail of yesterday's lows.
Look, I'm glad Neil has Tesla there, but we have 190 long, and I don't know why. I heard Neil talking about it. I was too busy looking at Amazon there to understand what was happening. So, yeah, we missed that trade, but if you didn't, then it is.
Another one.
You know, so that's now 80 cents in the money on that 190 long. And the long break, I heard Neil talking about it there. It was up and down, but the only time it broke, I guess there might have been a wick back down into there. I wasn't watching, but if you took the 190 break, it was... You just had to hold it. You got $1 without having to hold it $1. So far, so good there for anybody looking at Tesla. I'm now long on this name. I'm long here at 65s. So we missed the print. Let's see where it goes now. Hopefully higher. We've got this trade, and we're pretty happy with it so far there. Amazon dancing, Tesla trying to go. Nvidia, that's already a huge trade. Apple's trying to do something as well. So far, so good here. Amazon is the one that just bounced off 187. So let's put some more shares in at 187 low. Maybe 13s, I just put it in. See if we can capture a little bit of profit on that name. So that will be my next little area of concern for myself. But hey, it's a green day for me here today. So, and although it hasn't been an eventful one, let's just see if we can still, be here and watch out for some of these trades as there it goes, man. I didn't realize you were long at 191. I thought you were long at 190, but I still like the trade.
I had the 90 break, but I can tell you, I hit the offer. It went to the upside. I hit offer enter when I saw the push through, and the price I got was underneath 190. So there was a bit of a stuck book for me, and it happens. Like if I actually take a split second to look at the order that's getting fired out, it doesn't happen. But I did. I just hit offer enter because I thought it broke out and was going higher, and I'd get like the first push. Instead, I was literally punching out underneath 190, which is insane. But it does happen.
And there it goes.
And I can look at the price when I send that order. I was just being really quick about it. Longeveron is halted to the upside. Yeah, maybe we missed an opportunity on this. Remember that $2 level on Longeveron? It bounced off 205 while we're dilly-dallying everywhere else. It's halted 295 to the upside.
Where's your out for Tesla,
tap at
by the way?
296. I'm already out.
Oh, you're already out. Okay, as I say, it's at 189.50 right now.
If I take a breakout, usually my stops will be 80s, 75s, or 50s, depending on the stock.
Right.
So like I pretty much don't have stops that are anything other than that. Longeveron, there is no tap on the stock, but you can track on your imbalance locator if you just look at what the imbalance might be. But it's a NASDAQ. Oh, it's a NASDAQ, so we're not going to get an update on it yet.
The market is coming in.
Yeah, the market's starting to come in pretty heavily, but Longeveron, sorry, the tap is exactly flat. But if it opens up breaking out 3, I'm not chasing this move. I'm going to go for a dip buy. Maybe we get something reasonable in front of VWAP at 250. We pivoted to BRTX, and that might have been a mistake on Longeveron. But as mentioned about Tesla, yeah, like if I take a breakout trade, like that's my stop almost every single time on a breakout. So yeah, obviously this is going the other direction, but we got out of the way of it. I have one short, and it's just Intel like we planned off of VWAP, but the market's starting to come in more heavily. I paid for ARM. Never mind. Hopefully somebody shorted ARM because I paid for the locate, so we'll probably sit unused now as I scratch the
Oh no. All right,
ARM is tanking.
Yeah, the whole market is absolutely tanking right now. We'll buy. So we did get stopped out there on a 188 break. We had written down 188 and 190. So we did take some 190s there on Tesla. But look at this. It is just dropping in right here, 188 and change. Yeah, I mean, the market's down a little bit here. I don't necessarily want to panic on these trades and just punch out at the very bottoms every time. But we did punch that Tesla level. Now we're back long and making it not making it all back, but we're making some back here on Tesla. Hopefully that will start to bounce back and then just like absorb that move down. But here we go for TSLA. We want to trade strong names. We talk about that over and over again. So let's trade Tesla. It just did come in. So again, we weren't too stuck up here because the minute our big trade was coming into 190. So this level here at 189, as we broke through 190, that's why I said to Neil, like, wow, where is this thing going? So I wasn't able to even average in until 188, 189.50 or so, but there's the drop out. So we definitely drop out and then we get back into the long now for Tesla. So like I said, we'll go from leading this whole place to being near the bottom now because Tesla winds up dropping back in again here. So we'll stick with it. Apple does go to the downside to 213. Again, we tried the 214 area. It breaks lower as well as this whole market starting to come off just a little bit now. I don't want to panic. I don't think it's as like crazy panicking time or anything like that. But for right now, the market definitely giving us pause for concern. But you know what's not pausing for concern at all? It's Amazon, baby. So we'll go from, hopefully from green, or from red, the other way around, from red to green on Amazon right now as it's finally pulling back. And here we go again, man. We're 50 cents in the money on Tesla, but we got to break through VWAP again, and I don't even know if VWAP matters. Let's put an order at 188.50. We have a lot of shares on this one. So hopefully this will make our day a little bit better here as, yeah, let's go Tesla. We're not going to do too much flossing because we got hit on it, and it will be my reddest stock, but at least the buy, we're trying to floss this name back up. We just got a decent out there, I think at 50 or whatever it was, 57. So we got a 40, a 50, and a 57 there, back upside for Tesla. But here goes the break lower again. The market is going to go, it's under VWAP. We've had such a good run. Maybe this is the day that we finally pull some back here. So let's reanalyze and potentially go short. We're already short Amazon $1.
Yeah, overnight lows are about to come in on the market. Longeveron has opened back up. It failed the high of the day. I still want to go for the dip buy. It's not at VWAP in here, and Blue Ocean's only good after market. So it's not really failed into VWAP just yet, but it is on the midst of a pullback. So we're looking for a dip out the open. I said I would not chase this. You don't want to FOMO yourself. You know, at the end of the day, like we did like this one initially better than BRTX, and then we went over to BRTX anyways, but it's starting to calm down on this pullback. 250 is VWAP, 250 is an opening range bottom. Nvidia just came back into 128.50. Okay, well, I thought this would get to VWAP before Nvidia got to that price, but I'm looking for a 250 bounce here on LVGN, and I just remembered I can get a stop order locked and loaded ready to go, so that if I do get the bid down here in front of 60s, I don't have to worry about being covered underneath VWAP. So Nvidia just pulled right back into support, and let's see if it can get back into VWAP itself. It's one of the only things, I haven't checked everything, but one of the only things I was looking at that hasn't made a fresh low in that last move. As I mentioned, ARM completely fell apart here and got down to $150. I paid for locates, and I think I want to short a pop in ARM back into like 55, 56. If this is unwinding or doing a pullback day, it was a $13 move top to bottom or bottom to top yesterday. Even half that on a retracement off of VWAP would be insane. So if this gets back to the upside, if it's a turnaround day, it didn't get to the all-time high that we were thinking it could. I'd play this one to the short side under VWAP, but it's nowhere near it. Yeah, it still has to go at least another $3.
All right, we are not buying any more Nvidia. So if you guys were wondering, like, okay, it's back into this level that this guy's been trading, I'm not buying any more of it. Tesla just continues to go lower. We're able to get some out there, but it's now at 187. So we're going to get out of Tesla. And then here comes Nvidia screaming lower. So we're going to stop out of this once it breaks. I'm just double checking my order here on Nvidia. I guess we're not getting that 130 break. 128. So if this breaks 128 clean, then we're going to get out of that. So that's going to be a trade for me that we'll try to get maybe a little bit more down near 128. But honestly, you know, we got to be careful with what we're doing. The market it's not even down. It's still nicely up, but this move is pretty aggressive there to the downside. And it's even continuing. Breaking, as Neil mentioned, the pre-market lows right now. So, okay, yeah, things getting spicier and spicier as we go. Apple, we're out. possible reload, but I'm looking for shorts now. Tesla, we got out a long time ago, 187.50 on that break. Now it's 186 and change and still going lower. I mean, the pre-market lows are right here, or I guess at the open, 186.50. Now that I see this, it's potentially a reloading spot here on Tesla, but again, I never really understood this whole why it was up 9, 8, 10%. Today on this news, but
motivated Elon, I think, is the logic people were saying.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And I said that too off the open. I said, now you're going to get a happy Elon Musk. So that should be something to look out for. But at the end of the day, happy or not, the stock does not appear to be too happy. What is this wick? That is 185.75.
They also got slapped with, they're going to get their own special tariff in Europe as well, was the news for them, which isn't necessarily good news, but they already said they're going to raise prices, and in Europe they're going to have to. So that would be, I don't know. You can look at that both directions, I think. So I got long Chevron, and it didn't bounce off 250. So I want to quickly just mention, if I had gotten 250, I'd have a stop underneath like 45s. But instead, it turned at 270. So it turned here, and I grabbed the 75 longs. My stop's going to be under 65. It's just an adjustment. It's just where it happened to go. So we'll try to respect it there. Intel is definitely making a turn. We're shorting into ARM, back into VWAP in here. So we grab 54, 34, load that one up. I'm waiting underneath the pre-market lows here on ARM. I'm going to stop at 57. As I said, if this one is unwinding today, I just feel as if like where this came from yesterday was like 147 and like $145. So I think underneath VWAP is like a $10. It's like a potential $10 move if it fails VWAP today, which is rare for ARM. So I'm going to treat it as such. We're in the long Chevron. Nvidia is still attempting to bounce off 128. Yeah. I'm not even looking at AMD. I don't think I've called it up more than once today. It's going to be Intel or Nvidia for me on the chip names. Let's go to Adara.
Keep an eye on Garmin here. GRMN Citron Research releasing a tweet saying that they think that Garmin could go to $100 within the next 12 months, currently trading around 160, so that's going to drop. Basically, the thesis for their short case is that Garmin is having a bit of diminished returns compared to Apple with their Apple Watch update, saying that Garmin might not be able to compete with all of these updates for the Apple Watch, specifically with regards to fitness. So GRMN to the downside on Citron Research tweet, guys.
Watch. We were just talking about that. Yeah, it's like the Apple Watch is getting just as good. And then Neil's talking about the price of it.
Garmin is stupid expensive.
Yeah.
My wife has one. My sister-in-law has it. It's like people like triathletes and like distance athletes. They're like Garmin was the thing, but it's like they're married to it, despite the fact that you can get a million other options. Whoop is one of them that are much more reasonable and just as good, if not better, sometimes. But anyways, that's my 2 cents. I try not to argue with my wife about that one too much, but you can tell what I feel about it.
All right. Okay, so Tesla keeps falling. Amazon's not really falling as much as the market, so I think we're going to be wrong on that one. But that's why we called 186.50, and when you're short calling and it hits, I mean, that's good. We also called Tesla, which just continues to go down. I've just tried this bottom there, and then it broke 186. So I don't know. We could start to go up from here. The market's going to have to lead the way. I feel like if the market goes down, they're going to sell names that are hugely up. And that's that name. I don't necessarily agree with that, but if that's what they're going to do, that's what they're going to do, and not much can be done about it. All right, there's Nvidia. We're almost at our stopping spot here of 128.50. So buying the dips today has not been, well, buying the dips early was working great, and it might still work now, but here comes Nvidia all the way down again. We don't have a big position at all. Look at their size there at 128. Again, if it breaks it, it probably just continues lower. We're going to get out probably 20 cents or so off of this hit. So right now, lower than 128. So we just saw some decent size there at 128. Let's see if it does wind up holding now those bottoms. And then Apple again could be something, just taking the 200 period. We probably should have tried something at 213, but we are nervous a little bit about as this move goes downside there and what exactly is happening right now. So, all right, Nvidia is going to break. Oh, no, it's not. We got some shares there at O's, so let's see if we can get 20 cents on it, as I thought it was just going to break, and I think it will. But before that maybe does happen or maybe does not, let's go over to Adara at the desk, and when we come back, I believe it will be broken.
After a really great day yesterday, IWM to the downside, now down just under 1% on the day. Trying to hold on to support here around 202, but a bit of a rejection we've seen a couple times at this 202.40 level. Some interesting technicals for the Russell 2000 this morning. Lots of small cap movers today, including Zap EV. This was a little bit of a late comer. This one currently up around 200%. Multi-halter ZAPP, is an EV company signing a memorandum of understanding with this Bounce Electric for manufacturing and sales in India. Also worth noting with Zap, you've got a short float of, not a short float, a total float of 1.6 million shares, so small float for Zap EV. We also have Longeveron here, of course, LGVN. This one initially started trading higher yesterday with traders circulating this report from Zacks Small Cap Research giving the stock a $15.10 price target. So nice look for LGVN. Day two move. Last but not least, Go EV. Canoe is the name of the company. This one has traded higher before for this GOEV. No particular news on this one today, up about 20%. Short float, though, of over 10%. So nice look here for this one as well, guys.
All right.
By the way, the market's going down.
Not break,
Broadcom it broke its low. It's starting to fill the gap. It's still up 11%, obviously, but starting to fill the gap in here is Broadcom. That is worth mentioning. LGVN did pop a little bit for me, and then let me just get back into LGVN. Remember I said, because I took the long instead of 250, in front of 250, we grabbed it at the 275. It tagged 85, it tagged 90, and then pulled right back underneath 65. So even though it didn't break VWAP, I had mentioned that my stop was going to be higher because it bounced higher. So if we get a push off VWAP, I'll probably try it another time here on LGVN. Is that one headed downside? I said I hadn't really looked at AMD outside of the one time. AMD 158 and down 1%. It's not looking good for them. If AMD loses 157, like 150 is the next level on the daily chart. It's back under the 50 period. So I all of a sudden find myself only short Intel and ARM, which the market is an interesting one because I can tell you right now, I had zero expectation that that's what the positions I would be in at 10:30. I thought we'd be cruising on longs, and the exact opposite has happened. But I guess you got to stay nimble at times. I'm asking myself why I wasn't considering an AMD fail, but sometimes you miss an obvious trade, and I'm here to admit that I was looking at Nvidia and Intel, thinking those would be the ones today. You basically wicked the high yesterday on AMD by about 20 or 30 cents, and it's been flush city with almost no green, just all red until it got down about $4. That's a wild one for AMD today, but it is what it is. You got to work with what you got.
30. Yeah, so look, it broke 128. We said that we would try to, obviously we're still up on Nvidia. We don't have to worry about that, but we were looking at reversing into some of the positions, right? So we have 128.50, which that was that level that we said we were not going to reload. I feel like that once we started to have that feeling there, we should have shorted that level. So now that we're short at 127.80 here, we're going to have to wait. Like if that comes back up to 128.50 and then we just get thrown around at this level, fine. But we've seen sort of the bottom come out of Nvidia a couple times in its history of trading. And that included, I think it was it last week or something? We fell like $50 or something like that. Not that it's going to fall $5 now or anything like that, but it does have that ability. And I was just sort of saying the other day, oh yeah, our daily chart is no good on this. Here, let me just call up another platform. This has been just such a good move since that split right here. So it's like we came in, split out at, I think it was 1180, 1180 gave us a 118 price level. But as you can see, we're up to 128, 127 in just 3 days. It's only Thursday now, right? So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then today being that final day. So we'll wait to see now if Nvidia does pull back in. Wouldn't surprise me if it does sort of have that move in it. So we'll hold on to this. We're banking on this trade. We're not yet. We're going to, hopefully we will. We'll put a bid out here at 50s just to get out of 10%. And then we'll put another bid at 25s or so to get out of another 10%. And then hopefully, am I at 50 exactly? No, we get that fill. So there it is. So again, we'll make back right now what we lost on that long, but we still lost on it, and it's not good. My whole day is this stupid trade on Tesla. Hopefully we can rectify that at some point. But wow, like Tesla breaking. You know, everyone here is long. This is why it's going to be a pretty bad day. Everybody's long here on Tesla. You had to have that opinion that what the heck is going on with this stock today, because you're giving back a lot. It was up 10%. You know, now you're only up 3.5. So this stock definitely giving it up. And then Nvidia just bounced off 50 again. Let's put another 5% down there. There we go. We'll take a 60 fill. And now hopefully that move will happen. And by the way, Amazon, man.
Yay, 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 yay. Brendo.
That one is so stupid. But I like it anyways. Right there, 186.08. Right there for Amazon. I just put a bid at 08s. I thought we got filled, but we did not. So let me just punch some out there. We'll punch some 15s, 16s, get it out, cancel our 8 now, because we got to have this tick. And it's not just for looks. It's because we're broken down. And you see all this stuff underneath here? I mean, we could hold this 186. So it'd be silly for me to just be so focused on Nvidia to miss this Amazon breakdown as well. So we're not missing Nvidia now, baby. Now we're in the money. And this takes, honestly, for me, this has been a big change. And we've talked about that, the ability to reverse it. Now, we did not reverse it on Tesla, which would have been
that was a pretty serious
moonshot. But
reversal.
this is a serious one to the downside as well. So, I mean, it's $1 on the Nvidia reversal here, and it would have been like $3 or $4 on Tesla. But that name appears to be broken temporarily.
Well, what's not broken yet is Apple, at least. Apple holding the line at 213. It closed at 213. Pre-market low at 213. It's bounced 3 times at 213. If there's a bounce to be had, I think going to this name makes some sense. There's been some counter. We've seen it before, where it goes counter to what Nvidia is doing, and you get rotation from one to the other. The other thing that happened is Meta. We were talking about the strength over in Meta, like for a hot minute. Now Meta absolutely tanking. The 500 level looks pretty good there. I might have got shaken out of Longeveron, unfortunately. But Longeveron just wicked me. I made the bottom wick in there with that stop. It's still above VWAP, still looking pretty good. Volume settling in there at 65. So one more chance for it to bounce off VWAP. Otherwise, I'm taking the higher low again. And I'm going to get on the bid. It looks like it's about to hold this 70 level. Some size there at the 70s. My stop is VWAP on ARM. I'm in here on the bid for both those lows. But if it takes out VWAP, it's got $5 from VWAP to the high of the day. So it's obviously got a wide range on it. I think if it tanks, I think it gets down to $150. It's sitting at $155 right now. But if it breaks out VWAP 57, that would also mean it breaking back to yesterday's highs. All right, here comes the dip in Longeveron. If it doesn't get to VWAP, then I'm going to play it off to 70 one more time. Let's go to Adara for the crypto update.
Saw an interesting article here with regards to some intense bullishness, some Bitcoin whales coming in on Tuesday. They don't have the data for Wednesday yet, but apparently Tuesday, crypto whales were picking up about $1.4 billion worth of Bitcoin. And this came as Bitcoin hit its lowest supply in almost 3 years since December 2021. So this is a nice look. Apparently the largest inflow day for Bitcoin whales since those ETFs began trading or a renewer, so in late February. So nice look here for this Bitcoin addition there at the time. We do have Bitcoin as well here on the daily chart, continuing again to find a bit of a hard time here at that 71, 72,000 level. After a move up to 68,000, we're giving up a little bit of that today thus far. Currently 67.3 for BTC. Ethereum also falling back a little bit here to below the 3,500 level. BNB, Solana, Ripple, Dogecoin, Cardano, all pretty significantly to the downside. Not a lot of strength in the crypto markets today, guys.
All right. Wow. I mean, Nvidia is very, very, very impressive. I mean, we tried to get that short, and then it broke back above 128.50. You know, the market is really starting to bounce again. Like these PPI and CPI days and things like that, and especially a day after Fed. And I know I said I would want to short Apple yesterday, and thanks to Chris for bringing that up to me before. The thing is like, I'm guessing that we're just sort of carrying the day again here on the NASDAQ, right? I mean, the NASDAQ did fall temporarily. I mean, this is one of the more dramatic ones that we've seen, just because we only have one green candle before eventually now trying to get back to the upside. So yeah, pretty dramatic day here in the markets, needless to say, as I feel like it's been I've been thrown around a lot. I don't know about other people. I mean, this Amazon short's been okay.
This has been, though, it's what's the word? It's like a seesaw kind of day.
Seesaw's a good one.
I think
Yeah,
it's a
'cause
big
no one
time
knows what's going
seesaw
on.
day. No questions asked about it. Apparently, we're going right back over to
she's
Adara.
busy.
More on the desk. Busy up at the desk.
Busy indeed. We do have Ming-Chi Kuo. This is that noted Apple supply chain analyst. He's now tweeting here about Qualcomm's QCOM. Not much of a reaction here for Qualcomm right now, but basically Ming-Chi Kuo tweeting out this article he's written about some new growth drivers for QCOM. So keep an eye on Qualcomm here, trying to push a little bit higher, guys.
So Qualcomm pushing higher, Apple pushing higher along with that. We did mention that. Back to VWAP on Intel. So suddenly, now Intel catches a bid? Really? Is that what we're telling me? Like, it's down one. This was down when everything else was up. And I guess logic would be that now it's caught a bit of a bottom. It didn't get to 30, but I reloaded it VWAP anyways because the trend is still going to be in there. Longeveron did come in. We got the bounce there. Apple, I'll probably just cancel this bid at 213 on Apple. It's almost at VWAP as we speak, so I think we missed that bottom there on Apple. You had to be locked and loaded and ready to go right when it got there. I said if Longeveron did not break that 70, I'd get back in there instead of VWAP, so it bounced off 70 and I grabbed 72s on the long side. I'm still going to scalp out into 3 and want to hold a break. I'm not taking any breakouts on this stock today. I want to go dip buying and then try to hold a piece through the break and then add if it holds a bid above 3, which you can see it did not hold a bid above $3. Immediately rejected it. And that was after a halt. If it goes into another halt, I'm holding. An up halt, I'm holding through. A down halt, I should be out because I adjust my stop as it goes higher. Not holding any longs through any down halts on a stock like this. It literally, as we said, look at that. It'll come back. 85, 90. Stop underneath. No matter what, I'm always going to have stops on stocks like this. If you make bottom wick, you make bottom wick. Who cares? I'd rather be green and miss out than get caught in a down halt and this thing does like 40 or 50% on you in one shot.
All right. It's just getting more and more violent around here for me. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, things aren't going the way that I had thought they would so far here today, including like just getting tossed around. And I hate feeling like this because, okay, well, now we're flat on Nvidia, but it's just on this position. It's just because, like, I want the long in Nvidia, but, like, the market is trying to tell me short. But then, you know, I just don't think that right now there's any real reason to be putting on, like, a maximum position pretty much anywhere right now. I know all you guys are saying for me to look at GME, but honestly, like, I have Nvidia shares on right now, and I will have a look at GME, but this Nvidia, if it breaks 129, maybe it's, I mean, 129, this is all where VWAP and all of that is. So I don't, you know, like, I'm going against what I normally do. I'm shorting strong stocks, which is not a great recipe for any kind of success for me. But now that I'm talking about this, let me get out of 10% here, if I can, at 128.50 for flat, and then just regroup it because, yeah, we're feeling some kind of way about this one. I you know, think it can still crash. I mean, if this gets back into here, then the whole day will be a complete turnaround for me, and we'll be like, okay, that was good. But like, we already took this hit one time on Amazon trying to average it in, and then eventually got to short. So that's kind of the logic that I'm trying to use here with Nvidia, but Nvidia and Amazon aren't the same. I wrote down Amazon for a short here, and that's why it's $1.50 in the money. That's not why, but it's $1.50 short in the money now. We wrote down Nvidia long. It's kind of like when Neil was talking about Apple there. You know, we shouldn't be looking for Apple short. You should be looking for potential bottoms to grab a stock that you know you're looking to go long on. I mean, it's just the same thing.
Yeah, that was exactly my point. I flipped to shorts and totally forgot about the buy in Apple at 213.
Yep, exactly.
And that might have been, I mean, one of the most simplistic trades you can ever do is I like the general direction of a stock, right? So bias, let's just say bias long, and then get a ridiculously significant price level. So post-Fed day bottom 213, closing price 213, pre-market low, there you go, 3 things. Closing price 213, and then the pre-market low was 213. And then it bounced, I didn't even see it the first, look at this. 1, 2, 3 times it bounced off at that same level before I was even looking at the stupid thing. And there's $1.50 for you where I think you're risking 25 or 30 cents on that trade. Reasonably speaking. Now, I didn't get any fills, so I can't tell you exactly what you would have got down there. But again, if you're only looking at that stock, by then I was resigned to looking for shorts. And so if ARM works out, great, but I don't necessarily think it was the lower hanging fruit. And you should always hope to get the lower hanging fruit. As I mentioned, Longeveron, I took more shares out on the bounce this time than I did the last time, so I did better the second time than the first, but it still doesn't hold on. It could be breaking VWAP in here as it heads into the downside. I did just get a first profit take on ARM. Sorry, we're at VWAP right now on Longeveron, so if it bounces, I want to be there. But I did just get first outs. 154 was first outs on ARM, then here 153 change, then low of the day, and if it breaks 150, I want something on board. I just feel like the day that, when this stock unwinds, it tends to be pretty ridiculous, just like when it goes to the upside. So there's the hold of VWAP finally on Longeveron, despite the fact that we traded a couple of other levels twice. So if it can hold this 260, we're going to jump back into it. I think this time it's just a pure scalp into 285, 290, and I would take out 90% of it instead of like 60 to 70% like I had before. Adara, again.
Keep an eye on Ethereum here. Reuters reporting and this circulating on Twitter here that apparently Gary Gensler is seeing a potential ETH, Ethereum ETF approval here sometime in the summer. So this being reported by Reuters, we'll have to wait and see. Keep an eye on ETHE and any of these Ethereum-related products, guys.
Oh, well, I have NVIDIA huge. All right, so I was long before that, before you went to Adair there, I figured that's what she was saying. All right, so I just punched long 66s here. The move already happened, and this is not the same as last time. Like when we had that move up in Ethereum the last time, I think a lot of that was because there was so much negativity behind the fact that it may not happen, right? And so for right now, looks like, okay, well, I'm gonna take some piece out here at 75 if we're able to. Oh, we just did, okay, good. So I was like, don't I have a 75 offer? All right, so nice move up. We're only long, it doesn't show our shares on there for pink sheets or for OTC markets. Like I am, right? Doesn't show it. I'm long, so I'm long. No, it's okay. I can see. Yeah, I'm long right now on Ethereum. So right there, ETHE. Let's see where it goes. I have an offer at 80 to get out of another 30 or so % of this trade. It looks like this news is causing a little bit of a move higher here, and there it is. We'll get some hot dog. I'm still not happy about Nvidia though. We have a decent size on this right here on Ethereum. So if it does moon, we're fine with it and we're happy. But I'm not. I'm just peed off there. We did get, oh, by the way, we should talk about it quickly, but I got more out there at the 200 period at 50. So, like that was a flat trade. It's fine. To lose 50 cents is fine. I'm more frustrated in the fact that like I'm short and I probably shouldn't be here into Nvidia while Amazon, the short that really prints, is still printing. So like I said, remember I said, oh, this is going to break 128. All this size doesn't mean anything. This has done 100 million shares, and the options and all that kind of stuff that gets traded on Nvidia just blows through these levels. It's not. These levels don't really mean anything, so we're going to get stopped out above 128. But Ethereum's still going, Amazon's still going, and Nvidia, unfortunately, making moves all the way back. We got some good bids down there when we went short, and we said we were proud of flipping over. But again, it didn't flip too long to the downside. We took about like 50 cents on that trade, and now we hold this one 50 cents against us. So, all right, let's go over to Adair again.
The sector board is pretty emblematic of how the NASDAQ is kind of outperforming the S&P 500 here today. Nvidia and Broadcom, the main positive names here on the board alongside Tesla and consumer durables, but this electronic technology sector does have some standouts. A little bit of strength as well in technology services. Oracle trading strong day 2 of earnings, but Google and Meta both a bit weaker here. Generally though, other than Nvidia and Broadcom, there isn't even a lot of strength within this tech sector as well. So a little bit of weakness across the board, save for some outstanding moves to the upside in certain names. Health technology, finance, producer manufacturing, all very weak here. Health services, process industry, transportation, Uber up about 5% yesterday, giving up at least half of that gain today, down almost 4% right now for UBER. Industrials, energy, minerals, utilities, consumer non-durables all weak. I do want to mention consumer services. This one pretty weak as well, but some strength we have here in Starbucks and Chipotle. Both of these getting an upgrade from Goldman Sachs alongside some other food names like Domino's. So keep an eye on some of the names in this sector with those upgrades in mind, guys.
Well, we're right here.
A second ago, NVIDIA was tanking and Apple was ripping. Now NVIDIA's ripping and Apple is not tanking, but right back into this 213
Oh yeah, what
level.
the heck?
So it just pulled back a full $1. I already have a stop underneath, so we said we missed it the first time, but I'm still going to take it. And when I say the first time, I mean it actually bounced like for 15 minutes off the level, so you really could have had it for a long time. at this 213, but we're there now, so we'll see what happens. It's the only stock that I was really paying attention to that did not break through those lows. I mentioned Meta was strong. Meta is no longer strong, putting in higher lows, but it broke the low of the day is the key thing for me. So broke through the bottom, whereas Apple held the bottom. I think that's a distinction that I'm going to care about. Longeveron, we just got back into it, but it's exactly flat. I'm long at 60. It's at 59. So check that. It's at 61. So nothing really going on there. Apple should be the next one. I just saw in the chat there, it's like Racer Maxine saying it's a flat bottom break.
On what?
On Apple.
Oh, maybe.
I think it could be a reverse. The only reason I'm not reversing that level is if you track right into the close, 212.50 is actually this bottom. So I'm looking for the long off 213. If it's underneath 212.5, I think that's a different story. But as long as 13's on the bid, I'm still looking for the long. I think it would have to take out this 212.50 before I would get into a short on Apple. That's the actual like Fed day bottom as far as I'm concerned. But no long just yet. There it is. Like it just bounced 40 cents away from my order. So maybe I need to be a little bit more aggressive with it. Pop it up maybe 20 or 30 cents and see if we can actually get something on Apple.
So I just punched out. We'll make money on, well, we won't make money on, wait a second, what just happened to NVIDIA there? All right, we got to get into, we got stopped out of a little bit of NVIDIA. We'll try to get a little bit more. All right, so just real quick here on Ethereum. So we got some out at 80, then we punched out for flat the rest of it. So we got like half out up here, and then we punched some 75s. As we started to see it coming down, we got some 68s, and then we punched out for flat at 65. So we were actually long at 66 at one point on that trade. And then we, like I said, out for a little bit of flat action right there. So, all right, NVIDIA did touch that 129. I told you we got, again, I see what Neil's talking about. Sometimes the level will break, and then you'll be like, did that break or not? And I don't know if it broke on NVIDIA or not. We did get stopped out. We didn't get stopped out of it all because it was going back and forth. So we'll figure out what exactly happened there on NVIDIA. But for right now, it is starting to pull back a little bit, and we are short. So we're short NVIDIA here, just waiting to see if there is going to be a play or not on this name moving forward. So there's the short on it. Like Neil just mentioned, maybe if Apple does break, then we'll get some feels for the market, and this will come back in. I still think that we could retest this 127.50, but there's the pullback into the 200 period on NVIDIA. So, you know, in what could be a really good stock right now, it's kind of caught in la-la land, I guess, right? I mean, it hasn't really moved as much as I would hope for it today for us to be sort of obsessing about it. So let's hold off hope and see what happens here. Hopefully it comes back into the downside. 129.10 looks like where we went up to on that little false break. So maybe 129.20, something like that, if you're going to get out of this. But right now we're short at 95s.
Speaking of short, I reloaded Intel at VWAP. The other thing, we were just on the offer about to get filled on Longeveron. I might have jinxed it. It's right back into that, like VWAP, we got it long. It was about to pop in and give us something in front of 70s, and now it's pulling right back. Apple, still trying to be patient and actually look for the 213. So I'm sitting out here. I don't need to have this hanging around. I'll be on the levels. I'll be on the level 2. I might just try to punch it on a bounce off of 213, meaning let it get down to the price, and if I see it start to bid up, just hit the offer aggressively instead of just standing in front of a moving freight train if it does come back in down to that level. So Longeveron, still not much happening up there. Remember GameStop?
No.
That thing that we've been talking about like literally every single day with the exception of, ever heard of them?
No, Game Start?
Yeah, so guess what? At the high of the day, holds VWAP. Remember we like this thing when it puts higher lows and then dips into VWAP and holds? Well, that's working if you tried that, and it's at the high of the day now. So that $28 level was pretty big in the afternoon, but I'm just going to go on VWAP here. Dip into VWAP has worked almost every single day. When it does a false break of the low, you take a VWAP dip into a fresh high. It's already done it once. If it can do it twice, GameStop up 7% today. Lo and behold, in all this madness in the market, it dipped in, didn't break 25, and is now trend up since bouncing off the 25 level. Lower hanging fruit sometimes.
Yeah, and you guys were mentioning that in the chat, so it's our bad because we were
occupied elsewhere.
Okay, NVIDIA, do your damn thing. Do it. I cannot believe that. It's so funny, the life of a day trader. Like, you know, you sit here and I was just like, come on, NVIDIA, go long, break 130, break 130. Now I'm like, you better tank, you son of a. But right now, we'll wait to see. We are now 70 cents in the money, 80 cents in the money on this last little piece here. No, it's not a little piece, but on a piece of NVIDIA that we have. We still have more than half of this trade as I'm targeting these lows right here. So I don't know. You know, we know this emperor has many clothes, and it just seems like, you know, sometimes they take some off and then put it back on. And it seems like when they put their next piece of clothing back on, it's like, you know, the Louis Vuitton, and it just keeps on adding and adding and adding. And the next thing you know, this emperor is wearing very expensive clothing, up to 128 and change. So, all right, let's go. We just got a 14 fill right there. Or did we? No, we did not get a 14 fill. We got a 20 fill. Right, there it is. Now we get the 14 fill. Come on, bring it on down right now. And we'll see if we can get going. There's a 128 fill for us now on NVIDIA. Yes, sir.
Holy
we back in that building right now. Is GameStop moving? I'm hearing it in here.
Yeah, forget about the dip into VWAP. Let's just throw that out the window for a second as GameStop just continues to break higher. I'm only chuckling because like the thing that
shareholder
been
meeting.
excited, like the shareholder meeting's at 11. I'm like, duh. So maybe it's going to make a move into 11 o'clock. So at this point, if it dips into VWAP, it might be right at the start of the meeting, which could be a bit of a problem. I don't necessarily want to be taking an entry against the grain, like I'd buy the dips when they're going to start the meeting. I don't think that makes any sense. And I'm not going to take any breakouts off highs. Whoa, why am I? Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Long what?
No,
Long Chevron?
No.
Oh.
I just had to punch out of ARM because I think I keystroked it. I bid the wrong stock. Yeah. So I was taking a bid at ARM, and the intention was to take a bid here and then hold the rest down for 151 where I was bidding. Yeah, I actually got long on ARM just now, accidentally.
Oh, yeah.
And just punched right out of it.
Oh,
I had no intentions of being long ARM. In fact, I still want to be short this name. So I'm going to see if I can jump back in at the 50, in the 55 range here on ARM. But you make a mistake. Well, I'll be up on it because it did make a good move, but I should still be in that short. I'm not going to chase this. It's got a bit of a spread. But just get out right away if that ever happens to you. Long Chevron is bouncing, and I am no longer bidding VWAP on GameStop. That's what the first thing I was saying.
You might have just heard me say, oh, yeah, and then, oh, no. Because NVIDIA broke 128. Oh, that's Tesla. My bad. I was looking at Tesla because I was like, oh, man, I can't believe my whole day is lost on Tesla there. There it is. So there's the break. We have a bunch of outs here at 128, by the way. So it went down to one. See, like I said, it's kind of like the same thing that happened on this break right there as well. So it breaks and then goes like 5 or 6 cents and then instantly back up to, wow. All right, we're short. I'll get some more short up here on this name. I feel like this bounce might just be because of that, refusal to break lower on that. So let's wait. I am bidding. As soon as I saw that, I tried to punch some, but it just kept going. So once it was at 128.20 and 128.30, I felt like I did not want to get out of the rest of those shares. So I'm bidding now 128.03 and 127.96. Other than that, not much.
It's still not short Chevron. It's long Chevron. The stock does like weird things, and it was just bouncing off VWAP. Remember I said this time I'm going to scalp more out in front of 290 than the previous two times so that I wouldn't get that trail out of like 25 or 30%? Well, that's what it did. And it broke 25s. I put a trailing stop in back through 325, which filled pretty much instantly. So it broke 25s. I threw a trail. It got out. Now it's bouncing off the $3 level. We're going to get to money talks because it's already 10:50. 10 minutes to go in the morning show. 10 minutes to go till the GME shareholder event. Yeah, whatever you call it. Presentation, whatever they call it. Let's get to the desk for money talks.
This time yesterday, we were looking at some pretty significant weakness in the DXY here on the daily chart, falling to almost that 104 level. It recovered pretty nicely, though, during the FOMC meeting yesterday. Now currently pushing back above 105. So nice bit of a comeback story here for the DXY. We did, though, get for the second day in a row some weaker than expected inflation data. So we got the PPI coming lower or flat across the board here. So month over month for May coming in lower than expected, negative 0.2% versus positive 0.1% expected. Core PPI month over month flat versus 0.3% upside expected. And the year over year PPI for May coming in exactly 3.2, so exactly in line with expectations here. We also got jobless claims higher than expected here, 242,000 versus the estimate of 225,000. We do have a couple more Fed and data-related things on watch as we head into the rest of the day. We're going to be getting Fed's Williams and U.S. Secretary Yellen both speaking at 12 p.m., so keep an eye on those. Either or both of those speeches could potentially have some moves here. Also worth noting, tomorrow we do get the preliminary University of Michigan consumer sentiment data that's going to be coming at 10 a.m. So let's keep an eye on here as we head into the rest of the week, guys.
All right. Yeah, thanks, Adara. As we do head into the rest of the weekend coming up tomorrow, Obi will be on the desk, so that should be really exciting for everybody. Amazon now $2 in the money, so we'll go 1-2. But I'm still like, oh man, like Nvidia's been really fun to trade. There's no doubt about that, but it's just like a little bit of a stock today. You know, like Neil said, I hadn't looked at AMD yet. Wow, 157. This is pretty low for them. No, down 1.5%. Okay, yeah. So like we said, like not all stocks are built the same. This probably, I don't know if this is a better short or not than Nvidia, but definitely not up here where Nvidia is. So as far as a stock to buy, hold, probably the one you would want would be Nvidia, but this name right here looks like we're going to lose it again because that 50 period is 160 and change. The one thing that hopefully Nvidia does is come to the downside, but if it comes to the downside, then we'll be able to buy something a little more exquisite for lunch. All right, there's Nvidia. Well, did we get a fill down there on Nvidia? No, we did not. It did come in, Nvidia, sorry, that's still AMD. What am I doing? Nvidia just came to 128 flat again. We're at 128.03. We'll wait for that. Okay, let's talk about what's for lunch. What's for lunch today is an Italian favorite, but not necessarily a favorite of mine. And it does include chicken. And if I said chicken and I said Italian, you should know one of two things. It should either be chicken parmesan or what it is today is chicken cacciatore with baby potatoes. So it should be okay. I think the baby potatoes would save that. That's like a chicken stew kind of thing. Yeah, it should be good. The reason why I don't always love it is if the sauce isn't right, then it's not right. And for me, sometimes sauces are not right. So
you're picky. I mean, look, when you're Italian, you're a little pickier than I am because
can you get gates of hell for AMD.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, good. Got it. Yeah, people not liking AMD.
Yeah, let's do this for AMD. And look, you talk about the chip names you're going to trade, right? So without any trades in AMD today, I feel like that's possibly it's a mistake in terms of it was a great opportunity to just fade the actual high and then look to join the trend. Like look at this when it pulls back in. Not just once to 159 and a failure, but twice. Look at the wick top. Like if you love. I like joining trends, generally speaking. But yeah, 159 fails again. I'm only now into Intel off of VWAP. I do want to get back into Longeveron. I was asked that question, would I get back into Longeveron off VWAP? Yeah, like until it stops working, like why? Like I kind of feel like why wouldn't you? So as long as it keeps catching a bid out in front of VWAP, it's trend up. It's up 61%. It's got a small float and all the good stuff that you want. That BRTX that we were in earlier, I mean, that was for a hot minute looking good. It doesn't hold the higher low in the trend to the upside. Now look at this, it's weak. So throw this one out the window and move on over to the one that's actually going, which is Longeveron. And then GameStop in 5 minutes. People in chat are saying that the shareholder vote doesn't usually do anything.
No.
That's fair. That said, as it's starting, I don't know that I want to be sitting on a bid in front of VWAP. If it bounces off of VWAP and I join a move like this one here where it bounces off VWAP, then you get long on the way back up, that's one thing. But I'm not going to be sitting on the bid at the start just in case you get run over. I mean, if you just sat on the bid at the start of when you thought the live stream was going to start for Roaring Kitty, that was probably the worst thing you could have done. Because it didn't start on time, you got run over and went into a downhold. I don't think that happens here, but I'd rather play a bounce than just sit out in front of what is sometimes a moving freight train in either direction. In this case, it's pulling back GameStop.
All right. Yeah, I was just responding here. Okay, so just real quick, Amazon is still that $2 in the money, and I just feel that again, it's $2 in the money because the market is down. But I just want to bring to everybody's attention that, we all put out little things. And I mean, the sticky note today, we only had one short idea. And the exact same thing happened to me back-to-back days. And that was that we shorted that exact same level twice and then put on the exact same trade twice. So we were short yesterday into this move, but the Fed was going, and then all of a sudden Powell left, and then this happened. I liked Amazon into the pre-market highs, into VWAP, into the 200 period, but at the end of the day, we talk about being, yes, NVIDIA, we just got that 127.90 that I put out there that I missed the first time. But anyways, sometimes support and resistance is what holds. And honestly, it's like, why did it stop there yesterday? Why did it stop there today? I have no clue why. But at the end of the day, the move doesn't matter, and it's a downside one. So if you're short, you print. And there's NVIDIA. So sure, we're $1 in the money now, and it's good to go on that one. We're pretty proud of NVIDIA today, but I really thought that 130 break was going to happen, and it didn't. So we did really good here. This is the part that I'm sad about, where we were buying these 128s. We were able to get some out, and then when it broke, we got out at 128.75. So that one hurt as far as the reload is concerned, but this short reload is fine, and this one's working out now. Now $1 in the money with about 30 or 40 cents worth of risk. So, yeah, I mean, will the market here, Neil? Let me ask you this. I say yes. Will the market be red by 2 o'clock when we come back?
Oh, it's hard for me not to say yes. I want to believe in the long. I just don't. That's why I flipped over to shorts, and I wanted to be on the bit of Apple there, but I got to feel that we're going red today. That said, I'm flat in terms of positions, and I'm exactly flat today. So for ARM and Tesla cancel each other out. Longeveron cancels out a loss in Apple and a loss in Intel combined, and we're flat on every other trade essentially. So I don't have any positions on. Look, my line in the sand for Intel, the previous low was right here at 30.40, so we're shorting back into VWAP with our stop at the previous low. It broke it, but it's still underneath the open range. So I might jump back into this at a 30.50 level, but I want to see what the next move is. Is it going to hold a VWAP on the long side? Is it going to reject the 230.50 where I can get a better price? GameStop's still within the pocket of, they're going to open up in like 90 seconds. They're going to start that meeting. Still in the pocket underneath VWAP. But I'd like to see it actually bounce. Like show me a bounce play and a bit of a higher low, and then I'll jump into it. And then we'll get into Longeveron. I mean, VWAP, yes, because that's what we've been buying before, but it could always hold some kind of different higher low that I don't mind working myself into. I might have missed my opportunity to get back in ARM. It's not really looking like it wants to grab VWAP, so I want to look for something else in the chip space. And so,
what's up?
Yeah, you know what? No, I was about to pull up Micron to look for something else in the chip space, and I just realized Micron's up 1.4%. And well above VWAP in here. So I will not be shorting Micron. I want to short something weaker, so it might just have to be back to Intel off of the $30.50, if it even gets there. It's at 40s now. I got out. I'm not getting back in unless it's a test of that 50 level on INTC.
Look, we're now $1.30 in the money on NVIDIA, but I just want to say what's up to Charlie Taff here, who says he appreciates my humility. This is funny because I don't know, someone in my life, it's not my wife, but someone says, cheer up, Buttercup. And it's like when you wrote that on there, it just made me laugh a little bit. Oh yeah, trust me, the mood I'm in is fine. I'm in a good mood. I have tomorrow off, and tomorrow I'm with.
Where are you going tomorrow?
To Ancaster. Yeah.
Oh, right. No, you said I.
Yeah, we have. We have the tournament tomorrow, and it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. It's High Park. This is me and my daughter right here, right now. It's my lovely wife, of course. There's some handsome guy named Brendo. And there it is right here. That's my daughter, Starbies. She's done now 4,000 shots this month or something like that in the backyard. And here's my golfing buddy, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Barron, who came on the show. And I actually have there's a clip here when he was on the show, and because he was our newest analyst, and we had hired him for a minute, and then he's made a great call. I don't know where it is on here, but anyways, it's on here. Oh yeah, this was a fun time. We went to the Raptors game. Oh, a clean-shaven Sharif is right here. There he is. But anyways, go find this all on your favorite or least favorite social media, Instagram.
We got to get Brendan a jersey, or at least wear the Raptors red next time we do that.
I don't know if Brendan owns any jerseys. Brendan, you own any jerseys?
Bet.
No, head is being shaken.
Not even like blue.
All right, good. I'm going to talk about this on the Freedom and Wealth podcast. Next time.
I got a lot of Jays gear we get. I'm going to give you something. Next time. Well, the Raptors.
Give him whatever. Yeah, I mean, it does. I honestly have probably, 100 jerseys.
I have way too many because
even.
I got a lot
I'm
of
not
like I was just buying them off Cheese, but back when he was doing.
I'm not.
it, so.
Yeah, like I have like 2 or 3 different
Oh.
Crosby jerseys.
We have a friend whose nickname is Cheese. Obviously, as I said that, but it's past 11 o'clock. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh
I
my
didn't
God!
even realize
Someone else
it.
got their jury summons. What's up, 1320
Oh no.
Wolf?
Yeah, well, good luck with your jury duty. I hope you don't have to go.
I hope I do.
Why do you want to go to?
'Cause I want to experience it.
I want to experience it when I'm like retired, like when I'm old.
Tired. I don't want to experience it when I'm retired. When I'm retired, I'm going to be chilling out, not
That's
even
when
in Canada.
That's when I'd want to do it. Like when I'm,
Wait a
when I
minute.
got
If you're
time
not
on
in
my hands.
Canada,
Well, they
you're still a
can't.
citizen, right? You'd have to.
No, you can't get summons when you're out of the country. You
cannot?
That doesn't even make any sense. How could they summons you when you're out of the country? You'd just be like, I
bet you they can.
I am traveling.
But then
deal
they
with
would
it.
just. I think you just kick the can. I think they would just tell you, well, as soon as you're back, you're. I don't wonder how that works, because that's kind of like draft dodging and all that stuff.
It's not. Well, that's not really the same thing.
It's not.
Draft.
I mean, dodging your civil duty.
Yeah. By the way, Apple's about to break that 212.50. Okay, we're supposed to go to the midday. It is Learn to Trade.
I mean,
It is
we don't-
Sharif.
I mean-
It is Adara. It is Apple breaking 250. I didn't get 212.50 just now. So fresh lows on Apple as the market is going downside.
the heck?
Let's go to the midday. Good luck, everybody.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that Midday Show. That is your girl Adara, and I am sure.